Hello, hello. I'm getting Deadlock up. Apparently I had to patch. Just a small one. I'm also trying to look for the replays, but it's being a bit more annoying than usual. I'll get there. Fortunately, it's very easy to find Deadlock replays. Alright, currently homebrewing your 3DS. That's an interesting hobby. Yep, that's exactly how it works, Mike. So, I'm literally looking at the replay ID now. And then you search by match ID. Type it in. And you download the replay. Obviously, one of the problems is that you can't not spoil. Unless I just, look away. Look away. But you can, stalk a professional or semi-pro or whatever. Stalk their ID as well. Lots of people do this, and you can search up their matches on like different Deadlock websites. And if they're playing on their main account, then you can just look at all of their replays. If they're not playing on their main account, then it's different. Nintendo's always in a weird place, isn't it? I think I had to... It should be downloaded. I think it downloads behind, even if you exit it, but... That could be false if it's... not one of your own replays. Oh, still downloading. So I'll be casting Deadlock live on Sunday for the finals of the what are those exactly called? Death Slam monthly tournament number 1. Okay, apparently this is the inaugural tournament. I don't know why I'm casting the finals, other than I don't know. They wanted to give the whole of Saturday to one pair of casters and then split up the second pair, and I am American, so I got the later slot. I don't know. Should try to work with Night Shift too for casting if you like it. I have cast previously, a year ago actually, with ZP, and they asked me if I was interested in casting at the time. It wasn't called Night Shift. It was called something else. Fight Night. That's what it was. Fight Night. But yeah, I wasn't really confident in doing it, so I basically said, maybe at a later date. So maybe I'll reach out to them again. Maybe not. They seem to have their group of commentators. Ideally, there's just going to be a lot more things to cast of a semi or professional nature. sooner rather than later. There really hasn't been that much. There's like college stuff that I think people do. And I'm certain like some other smaller things that I'm just not aware of. Oh. I also have to fix something. So we'll turn this on. It should be fixed.
Keeper's power is nothing compared to that of the Hidden King. Complete the ritual, and he will free.
It's pretty easy to break replays in Deadlock right now, as I found out looking into this. Because it's the last thing I think that they're really looking to clean up. So last time I did a cast for myself, it ended up just compounding sound effects, which got to be actually very distracting. So first it was a consistent Vindicta snipe noise. And then it just started to add other sound effects throughout the entire game. So that was pretty annoying. Live, I think it works okay. Whoops. Game's not even in beta. I mean, at this point in time, you know, the whole, like, was it beta, alpha, whatever. It just... I just refer to it as it's invite only right now, because calling it beta is kind of weird. It's definitely not... It is in beta. I would say that it is in beta. I don't think they're going to release the game without an invite and be like, well, this is still a beta, but I could be wrong. I mean, but then I'd still think they refer to it as like still in beta. I don't know. If it's not in beta, then it's an alpha, and I don't think you can call this alpha. There you go. But the sentiment is true. The sentiment is still the same, which is, yeah, it's not finished yet. I would like to turn off the replay HUD. That's what I was looking to do. Although... Okay, no, I think I can remember the camera controls. I think I can. And so obviously right now there's nothing like fancy as far as the overlay goes. So in Deadlock Night Shift, they actually get the fancy production quality going. But this is from Deadlock Night Shift. So I'm going to start casting this maybe on stream every Friday, maybe off stream every Thursday. But start getting into the competitive nature. And start learning for my own sake. On many fields, surprised many games that are full release. Oh yeah, for sure. I agree. All right, best I can do is first of all, get me off of here. There's already going to be enough on the screen. And then the second thing I was going to do was put up the names. It is the exact same teams as the last time I did casting. So I just have to swap them around. And that's like currently a problem in the professional scene, but I'll get into all of that, I guess, in the cast. All right, I think I'm ready to go. So, yeah, let's do it. Let's just go. All right, we got ourselves map 1 of the night shift. Happened a couple days ago. This is the European finals, so map 1 of a best of 3. And it's between Abrahams coming in as the Hidden King and Leviathan as the Archmother. And this is apparently the teams that have been battling it out for a while. I think Leviathan actually won last week, so I guess they're the reigning champs. But Abrahams have won so many. night shifts, and then even before that, the fight night, which night shift used to be called. They've been around for a very long time. And before we get into some of what's happening in the lanes, just to generally talk about the esports scene of Deadlock, there's not too much of one. There is agreed upon kind of the prestigious tournament that is Deadlock Night Shift. And then there's a couple of the tournaments that are happening besides that will have many of the pros participate in, that are also high quality, but everyone kind of refers to the pro gaming scene right now as just Night Shift, which has Europe and then North America, and is just a challenger, best of one into the finals, best of three. So that's the setup that we have. The other thing that happens is the Deathy events that people are starting to really pay attention to, and that's what I'll be casting on Sunday in the finals, so that'll be fun. What's really fun about Deadlock commentating by yourself is that observing is super difficult, so enjoy me trying to catch up to things and also observe. That is what really you want from live broadcast, is your own observer, so that you don't have to bother looking around for stuff. But I'll try my best. I'll try to actually catch the action when it happens, but excuse me if I do not, because there's a lot that goes on in the Deadlock game. As far as the professional Deadlock games, you're going to see a lot of it being just very much timed super well. Although this is interesting, we're already getting some action over on the right side, just 2 minutes in. And Paradox coming into the right side lane to help out. That was very quick. Doesn't find too much pushing potential, but leading Lady Geist back in the middle. I'll refer to some of their names as we get used to it, but right now I also think that for a lot of people watching, more of a casual approach, like we'll learn about what pros do and who the pros are, but it's probably going to be a lot easier for me, for even the viewers, to be like, well, that's Paradox, and that's Sinclair, and that's Geist, rather than saying, that's Hoot and Tass and Together and all that, who are very, again, established in the pro gaming scene. You start to get used to the players that they play or the rules that they play, and you can start to call them out by name. But especially without the overlay on, and I'm not going to keep tab down the entire time, which would give us all of the information all of the time. Just referring to the character names, hopefully is going to be good enough. But anyway, so a lot of the time with the esports, you're going to have, as I was trying to say, the timings be just very, very on point, right? So when things pop up, like the tier 1 camps are taken immediately. When boxes pop up, they're taken immediately. And generally, you try and obviously win your lane, and that is take down the Guardian and get some benefit here. As we watch Taz, who really is being quite mobile, is helping either side every time they get a chance to. Anyway, win your lane, fantastic, especially if you could win that mid lane. And then, yeah, maybe you get more help from the mid laners coming over to those other sides. But then it's going to really get to be, I think, more of a determined game. Once you get to the 10-minute mark, who actually gets the urn. That's going to be kind of the first big goal that we're going to see. Besides, again, winning your lane. If you win your lane hardcore, you start to see a big soul difference. I mean, that could obviously carry on. But I would say if you're really equally matched, that isn't typically going to be the case. Now, very much aggressively pushing into the mid, as I guess Silver was off doing some box hunting, taking the opportunity to do so. And I also can't go over a lot, but we do have the actual vetoes available, so I can at least talk about it, is you are allowed to veto 2 characters for either team. So we had bans. Abraham decided to ban Mina and Pocket, which I find amusing just because of the lore, but that's not really important for the overall game. And then Leviathan ended up banning Grey Talon and Mirage. What's funny about this night shift, by the way, is that there was an update like midway. I'm not sure if it was midway of the Europe finals or during the North America portion, but there was an update that happened that dropped as this tournament was going on and would have affected the game that happened next. I mean, literally, like, everyone has to patch. They don't have their own server. Everyone had to patch and then just like figure out how much that impacted. So the patch that happened is the one that I went over on my YouTube channel, where like Holiday now has the jump pad effect. Literally everyone on her team can use it and get the attack that she does, as well as the air control that she does when she uses her first jump pad. So I don't know if we'll see Holiday use maybe like later on in North America, because this is going to be the Europe one. I'm not sure exactly when the patch happened, but yeah, it is amusing. We could see that. We could see, Holiday just not chosen and then suddenly being chosen. As far as like whether or not she has been chosen previously, I haven't kept too up to date as far as the meta goes, especially since there are so many Deadlock updates that it does change week to week very often. Like Graves, I don't think was considered all that great up until the patch, what, 2 weeks ago, was it? Or maybe even the one last week. There's been a patch, I think, every week that's been somewhat substantial. It's changed something in a pretty serious manner. So this is, again, this is the Deadlock Night Shift European Finals Game 1 that happened just a couple of days ago. Happens on Wednesdays, every Wednesday. So we're checking out Leviathan versus Abrahams. And right now, Abrahams doing a pretty good job. They are ahead in souls. No objectives have gone down yet, however. And we're at 6.5 minutes. Usually in the professional scene, you do have a Guardian or two go down. And then it's about how well positioned are you to take the urn and actually take an urn fight. So that'll be the next big point. But I'm going to take a look at some of the choices here. Oh, there you go. As I was talking about it, it has happened. So finally, a Guardian went down. So while Hidden King, Abrahams actually is a little behind on those souls. A 5k soul difference this early on is going to continue to fluctuate. That's not going to necessarily carry on, as you can see here. And they actually got the Guardian first, as we also see that Tass has completely swapped over to this right lane. Now they've gotten the Guardian. It looks like we are going to have Leviathan really push into it. Rem ult does manage to grab the Paradox, but not Sinclair. And then the Billy ult that is stolen is going to be very effective, dragging them into the Guardian. But it looks like it's not going to be a deterrent, enough of a deterrent. They're healthy enough. They are going to go forward the parry as well. It was really nice there from Sinclair. Actually overseas in a damn bit of trouble. Does die, but grabbed the Guardian. So now we have the entirety of the right lane, which is the green lane. I wonder if they're going to change it when they fully release, by the way, to have them actually represent the true colors, as opposed to just being entirely yellow and entirely blue. Well, we'll figure that out eventually. But now that both of those Guardians are gone, we're going to see, obviously, less of the sticking of that right lane. So more movement is going to happen, as we can see right here, following Sinclair, whose ult is just such a low cooldown so often. They're going to grab this Guardian as well. So 2 down here. Now, on the left side, we did have the Abrahams have to give up the Guardian on their side. So it's 2 down for each side. So pretty even game. But now we're even going to have a bit of a team fight. Rem does not have an ult. I don't know how much they're really going to want to go for it. It's actually not going to happen. Looking back on the pushing power of Graves, I was trying to say that Graves, a couple weeks ago, I don't think was actually that involved in the professional scene. But I think the patch changed her a couple of weeks back. Oh, okay, that's good. It's a good Paradox swap. That's probably going to be it for Graves. Yeah, not much to do there. But Graves, generally the idea with Graves, right, is that you're going to be able to do a split push rather safely. So that has, continued to be a point for her, but then now she's gotten a bit of a boost as far as just being helpful in the team fights. And the ghouls, I believe this is... God, I remember the order of patches. It's just so obnoxious. So she's going to have 2 ghouls, I believe, in this game when she gets the T3, the fully upgraded lockdown that she has. And then that's going to change as, I don't know, as this series goes on or North America appears. I'm not sure which one. A lot of action. A lot of people have actually moved over here to grab that last Guardian Leviathan. They're going to be able to actually hold on to it. We're getting close to 10 minutes as well, so this could really determine who's not only going to get this Guardian, right? Will they or will they not? But also, who is going to be in position to actually grab the urn. If Leviathan is able to defend this Guardian and more than that, carry on here, continue killing the members of Abrahams, which seems to be happening right now, then they might be in a much better position to take the urn. So there you go. The urn pops up. Now Leviathan, they've won the fight. Yeah, they've won the fight. Lady Geist is still popping up there. Paradox is going to, sweep on back. Boost on back if available. I don't think they have it. To try and at least stop this, but not going to happen. Obviously, you're going to take the urn at that point. With 2 people down, basically, now 1 person, the urn is going to be taken. Looks like the fight's still continuing on to this, the lane where they picked up the urn, but it also kind of looks like Abraham's just going to have to give up the urn. I was going to say, you don't usually see that, so they are going to rotate on over. Okay, enough people are rotating over. You definitely don't see anyone in the professional scene actually give up the urn. I mean, maybe in a really dire scenario, but a lot of the professional scene is around these objectives. So the urn being huge, being the point of also, if you do get it, obviously you get money, but then also instigating these combats that might go in favor for you. But I thought they had an opportunity to grab the urn, weren't able to do it fast enough. Abraham's got back in position, and now with more people available, they actually push into the walker, where Celeste was holding on to the urn, looking for an opportunity to take it, and then it was just waiting around. So many people from Abraham show up, and now the walker is in some serious trouble, already down to 20%. This is actually looking a bit dire right now. Maybe it can be saved? Nah, Lady Geist goes for the kill. And the rest of the team just got out. I guess the call was made that Sonya Sniper, there you go, could actually grab it by themselves. Now, the urn didn't actually manage to escape too far away, so there's some good news for Leviathan here. They lose the walker. That opens up that flex slot for Team Abrahams, but they do get the urn, get most of the souls there too, and then are looking to counter pressure, really. They're looking to counter and hopefully get the walker of their opponents. On the left side, we did have some action, but it's all about this right side right now. The Kelvin Dome going to buy some time here with the 1v1 and Billy in it as well. The parries and the light melee is going crazy. That Kelvin is in some trouble, protected by the walker. Should be okay. Abrahams, are they going to be able to save the walker? It looks like 100% yes. They barely even took damage on it, so that counter push I think that was supposed to happen there didn't really occur. At the same time, it looks like the Celeste was getting some damage on to that mid-walker. If you can take out the mid-walker, that's actually the best-case scenario, and it looks like it might just happen here. It's down to, what, like 10%? That is absolutely going to be the next point of attack for Leviathan, as we get some frame drops, I guess, with the Sinclair steel. I didn't like that at all. This is the first time, by the way, that I'm seeing Sinclair use Graves' ult, just because Sinclair isn't played a lot in the casual leagues. I didn't think he was played a lot in professional scene as well, but then I believe with the Silver Edition, suddenly Sinclair, like the ult, the amount of times he could use his ult, and as well as his own patch, seems to have really like buffed him, but he's still such a difficult character to use. I know that for a fact, having taken many, many games to actually get my holiday challenge with him. So freaking difficult. But for the professionals, Hoot's well-established pro in the Deadlock scene, obviously doing wonders with him. But that was odd looking at the Graves ult with him. Anyway, like I was saying, like the mid walker can be very important to take down. So the first walker is going to go down fairly quickly, and it is going to be that mid lane walker. Celeste comes in to finish the job, and that kind of opens up that midpoint that can then lead to being able to push either the left side or the right side a little bit easier for Leviathan, who are they pushing currently on both sides. The Graves pushing too, it's always a bit scary, although it is the Sinclair that was using the tools there. And the Rem ult is, I don't know if it got anyone in particular. It might have been a reason that Kelvin was not able to escape back to the safety of the walker fast enough. Once again, we're actually going to follow the Celeste a little bit more here. Let's go ahead and do that. Riosh, I assume that's how you pronounce the name. Who might be screwed. Might just be screwed. Yep, it is screwed. But I do want to watch that more often. So Celeste was the one who did all that damage to the mid lane walker, right? And eventually came in for the kill, and then was bouncing around looking for opportunities to further damage the walker on that left side. Why do I want to focus in so much on the Celeste? Celeste is pretty much, I would say, the epitome of this like high skill character. Skill floor is like whatever, it's okay, I guess. Like, we do see people not professional who do well with Celeste, but the skill ceiling is absolutely insane for Celeste with her movement. And so watching the professionals use her and abuse her, basically, especially since kind of consensus has been that she's not been nerfed enough for what the professionals can do with her anyway, you can really see some differences between what you're facing Celeste's and then what an actual professional Celeste will look like. So I'm going to continue watching this, actually, as they do grab grab the urn. Again, highly mobile character. That's really why she can be so powerful. Her abilities also definitely have some razzle-dazzle, especially her ult, which still has a max 18 bounces for that ball. But the real beauty is in the movement. So, of course, she's going to be the one to try and get the urn. But found out and instantly injured down to, I mean, low, 5% health there. That should be a kill. Together is on the hunt. Barely able to escape, though. Jesus. And then also somehow getting some more health in. Had a healing rate added. And then going to go in for the fight, in fact. So just a meter away from death. And just look how much this character moves. I mean, the healing rate is adding some bonus movement, but good lord. While I was watching the Celeste just dance around, it looks like Leviathan was able to grab the urn. It was Billy overseas who was able to grab that while there was a little more attention driven to this mid lane, trying to get that Celeste, and then able to, and kind of pushing in for a fight. I mean, good lord. All right, so both of them have lost a walker. So both of them have a flex slot open, and we were looking at anyone who's looking to actually use that flex slot. It's pretty close, so, you know, it is definitely going to be impactful. It looks like Leviathan, really, I feel like the momentum is on their side. They're doing quite well. They've had the soul lead, I think, the entire game. At times it was only 2K. Right now it's 5K. They're getting the urns. They're pushing lanes and getting that mid walker, as I was trying to explain, kind of opens up more opportunities to, you know, go either way, whether to the left or to the right. And for the defense, it means that they have the extremes to protect. They have to go either far left or to the far right to defend the rest of their important objectives. Fight happening in the middle. Kelvin ults, not quite enough to save the day. Both him and Together get taken down. And so Leviathan's also winning these team fights, perhaps more and more convincingly. It's not over quite yet. Tass is on the hunt, hoping to get a pick. Looking for the swap, probably. I didn't actually get it, though. And this is, I mean, it's a 2v4 situation currently. Paradox is really going hard. The mid boss is starting to be taken. That's where everyone is. That's why it's not exactly a 2v4, is that everyone was down in the basements, killing mid-boss particularly quickly. That's 17 and a half minutes, by the way, which you're just not going to see in a casual game of Deadlock, and so much chaos is happening. At the end of it, it is going to be Abraham's grabbing every single rejuve, though. That was not the ideal situation at all for Leviathan. Can they take a good team fight, take out those rejuves, and take out Abraham's? Currently 3 players down for both sides. The chase still continuing on to hopefully grab more of Abraham's, get some revenge for those steals, and it looks like at least some of characters going to be able to escape with 3 players each side going down. I do wonder if there's going to be any continuation from the rejuve. It doesn't look like it, right? Things have kind of, they exploded really quickly. The mid-boss was taken quickly, but then the rejuve was taken by the team that didn't actually get the mid-boss. That happened quickly, and then the deaths happened so quickly too. All the rejuves gone. And then it was just a wash. But that doesn't, when I say a wash, it's a 12k lead actually in souls for Leviathan still. So even though that can sometimes be a real difference maker, stealing the rejuves, in that case, it wasn't. There was still a good enough battle to be had, I suppose, as Abraham's maybe, we'd have to go back and really slow it down and take a frame-by-frame picture, I think. Perhaps by diving in to get the rejuves in the first place, did not set themselves up incredibly well for an actual fight, because while it was 3 people down on either side, remember with the rejuves, that's kind of 6 deaths that happened on the team Abraham's. So they definitely straight up lost the fight. As I was saying, it ends up with a wash. Everyone just kind of backs away, waits for everyone to respawn. But yeah, that soul lead, it stays around that 10k mark, and it get more and more concerning, obviously. Are we going to try and escape through the teleporter, or are we going to stick around? Escape is had. Looks like the Rem is going to join in. Vindicta's also going to go. The teleport chase continues, but it's chasing a werewolf. Not Silver in her human form. Although it is now. And now Silver is also backed up by teammates, where it looks like Demov's in a whole lot more trouble, especially as Fremont got the parry. And it was supposed to be a chase to kill the werewolf, ends up being really turned around. And worse than that, while we had the rest of Abraham's perhaps looking to help the engagement or have an engagement somewhere else, they actually were not defending the right walker. So 2 walkers down for Team Abrahams. And a really crucial point, too. 20 minutes here, a lot of the flex slots are going to be used. You need more items. Fight around urns. Task picked it up and had to drop it because this is a fight to determine if they can actually escape with it. The rest of Leviathan isn't quite here, so they're going to get the opportunity to actually pick that up once again, at least back away with it and maybe take a fight in a more ideal scenario. Fremont turning into the werewolf, going to continue to chase, hoping to get Sonya's sniper. Do they have the ults? They do, so they got to be careful about that. A lot of Team Abraham's not actually a part of this fight together, even going down in the back line. The urn is then picked up by Team Leviathan. Celeste actually brings it into the fight, saying, come on, let's take the fight. Let's actually win it potentially right here, right now. As Sonya's sniper is forced to flee, even after using the ult, still goes down. The Vindictive snipes are happening. A paradox swap way up into the air. The Walker offering some much-needed protection for Team Abrahams, and perhaps that is why they're going to be able to hold on. And since that urn was actually delivered back to the fight, and the weird scenario that was, funnily enough, Abrahams is able to come up with it. Task noticing it, picking it back up as their team holds the line without Walker support and is even able to scuttle away totally scot-free here and actually get the urn, which is favored, by the way. Clearly this is favored. This is on their side. Overall, not a good look for Abrahams. That's exactly what the urn is designed for, is that comeback mechanic. And after quite their kerfuffle, they were able to finally grab it. Unfortunately, that Walker helped them in the previous battle. It did not help them enough in this one. Abrahams loses all of their Walkers, where Leviathan still has 2 up. The fight continuing on as Together once again taken out fairly quickly. Fremont in the werewolf form again. Absolutely going to be chasing everyone down if possible. And Abrahams is just losing everything at this point. Yes, they got the urn, but to lose the fight and then to lose the Walker and then to, again, lose more players, it just seems like Team Leviathan is, well, destined to win. Almost a 20k soul lead for them. What exactly can Abrahams do to try and make this work? With all the action that's been happening, haven't focused in on, well, some of the builds and some of the itemization that we've had, but we've also not really focused on where the souls are going. So just a quick look at who's on fire. First of all, Graves, super rich, the richest, in fact, has been, it's not at times, being the one to protect their lanes. So we can see here that was their job for that particular battle. But if they're actually the one, is Graves now the one that you want to give most of the souls to? Or is this just the byproduct of course, being the lane guardian and getting all the minion kills? I actually don't know. There are some characters where you can very obviously say, like, hey, you're not going to be good if you don't have enough souls, or hey, you're going to be freaking amazing if you have a lot of souls. And I just actually don't know where Graves stands. Well, Celeste got obliterated. Not before she got the ball off at the very least. I don't know if Abrahams wants to continue the fight with the ball active. Just kind of waiting for that to dissipate. And we are going to have the fight continue. I mean, grabbing Celeste early on could be the ticket to actually winning a fight. Abrahams, if they can win a fight, they can push into this mid lane Walker. Actually going to grab the left Walker. 2 players from Abrahams taking off that left side, while the rest of Abrahams is still taking a decent fight. Might have spoken too soon in the middle. I did speak too soon. I thought maybe they were able to escape, but then suddenly 3 of them go down. The ones who were overkilling that left side Walker probably shouldn't even try and continue to come over here. Yeah, they back away as they should, but that means that only 2 people are alive for Abraham. So while that looked like a brief shining moment of optimism, it quickly turned sour, and now we do have Leviathan able to push down middle and perhaps even get these lane guardians. 20 seconds until mid-boss 2, so that was one of the worst times to take a bad fight. I mean, it is still early on in this game. So many of us, we see all these objectives taken down. We see a mid-boss already gotten. Multiple urns have been returned. And if you didn't see the timer, you might be like, this is clearly 35 minutes, because frankly, we all suck compared to these guys. But no, for them, it's still fairly early on. The reason I'm bringing that up is because there is a still short respawn timer for Abrahams, but it was around 25 to 30 seconds that matched up with the mid-boss, which means that they might not be in perfect position to get to the deny on it, but they actually do zip on forward, trying to make sure that it's not gotten easily. This was not something that Leviathan was going for. They saw that everyone was coming in, so they're of course going to take the fight on top, and they are in fact taking the fight. Once again, winning this fight, and that will obviously this time around lead to both the mid-boss and perhaps even grabbing the urn. It seems like Saints trying to escape Everyone's going to chase after him. But this is Kelvin in the new patch, which apparently is pretty powerful. They got the Ice Walk, the Ice Path very frequently, and it is difficult to catch them. So that actually works out. But it's still a bad position for Abrahams. This is now, yes, obviously you're going to take the mid-boss at this point. One thing that Abrahams did do, realizing that things are going sour, is they did send Hoot maybe over to grab the urn. Now they're just simply going to deny it, because I don't think there's a way they're going to win the fight. Now with 3 rejuves, actually this time Leviathans too, it wasn't stolen. Just making it such a massive difference in terms of the team fight. Sam was able to escape once, but perhaps not twice. Yeah, with the Vindicta shots actually connecting too. And they're the first to go down. This is probably going to be the beginning of the end. Sonic Sniper also taken down. Now we're talking about a 20k soul lead officially. The urn was backed away fully into Abraham's main base. So that won't be gotten by Leviathan, but I mean, as long as they don't forget about it and let it just slip through the cracks. They grab the lane guardians on both the left and right side. They still have 3 rejuves. We'll expect more from Leviathan soon enough. I was trying to take a look at the way the soul allocation was going, but again, Deadlock just has so much stuff going on. I was going to note that Billy also being on fire for the last few minutes, also being rich. I mean, this is a character that can start to feel a little unkillable. And they do have, you know, this great item, Colossus. That's going to make them definitely feel unkillable in this position. Vindicta with the Diviner's Kevlar. That's actually making so much sense. I'm just thinking about incorporating some of these things into my own game. It's not that Vindicta gets into the fight, which a lot of times that's what you would get this item for, because you get a barrier when you use your ultimate, so if people jump into the fight, obviously more protection for them would be good, because everyone's targeting them. But for Vindicta, this is more like she uses Assassinate so often, and every single time, she gets a barrier for protection in case she does end up being too close and gets, you know, attacked, sure, but then that's temporary spirit power, making her abilities and her next Assassinate so much more powerful. That makes so much more sense. Damn. I think I am going to take some time to look at their items at this point, because I do think this is going to be the end of the game. The shrines are going down. As much as Abrahams is trying to get something done, they are just losing one character after another. And they are losing characters. Brief pause on the shrine killing, but we'll get to that eventually. And I'm sure the GGs are going to be set anytime. But as we watch, suddenly the jumps of kills come up as you're just kind of farming at this point. I am going to look at some of these numbers. The assists from this Rem Irizumi, incredibly high, but even for the Billy, everyone is really involved in these fights. I guess it's been a kill difference for a very long time, 13 to 36 now. A Rem ult that isn't strictly necessary is, yeah, this game is totally over. Leviathan playing very clean, aren't they? So apparently they're now the ones to beat in the scene after Abrahams had been the one to beat for so long. And I guess we got a glimpse as to why that is. GG's. I'm gonna look at the graph.
And now the patron.
Yeah, that's that Graves got so rich. Yeah, I'm gonna look at the graph. So I mean, kills already started to really. I mean, they stayed at this, like, solid difference around the mid part of the laning phase, 5 minutes. And they just stayed so consistent. And then, of course, as they, you know, really got too powerful, then it jumped up a lot more. These lane stats. Stats at 9 minutes is what's considered lane stats, I see. Oh, and then you can, like, specify which ones. Oh, very cool. So did everyone win? Okay, so this, they won their lane. But they won their lane. And then this was the one that didn't so much, I suppose, but not as much as you would hope to make up for the other ones. Damage dealt by type. I want to see who got big damage. Light Eater. So that is the Celestial, yeah. That's always in the background. I mean, assuming that you get the connection, which I'm assuming that in the professional scene, most Celeste get the ball to actually connect. It does so much damage. Is that is that what it's called? I'm gonna look this up actually. For my own edification. No, Light. I was gonna say it doesn't sound like that's not what it is, because the Shining Wonder is the ball. So Light Eater was doing this much damage, and that is the cone of it, like the. She spits on you. That's what I'm gonna call it. She spits on you. And you blast enemies in a cone in front of you with a flare of light. That's what was doing the most damage? It's actually crazy. And then Shining Wonder was the second thing. Damn. It's counting the on-hit damage when she auto-attacks. I see. You're saying that she does the Light Eater ability, and then with the bullet damage that she gets, because they take spirit damage when attacked by Celeste, and then provide spirit lifesteal. So it's counting that alongside the initial burst damage, I guess, which is making more sense, but that's still kind of scary to see. Interesting. Yeah. Anyway. I guess that does make sense. Oh, Graves. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's so much gun damage. Holy shit. And don't forget that her gun is limited range. So the idea, I believe, from Graves' design is that, yeah, her gun is going to do a lot of damage. It's also going to be taking away the damage of the opponents, was a big key thing about it. But it would be putting her in danger. She doesn't have any escape. She doesn't have high stamina. But doesn't matter for this guy. Jeez. Obviously, Rem isn't going to do a whole lot. And then not as much as you would expect from the other team. Who had the big heals? Calvin's a great pick. I was trying to describe that they're good in this patch. But perhaps there's a bit of a support diff. It's 20,000. I mean, a bit, yeah. A bit. People have actually even been pointing to the massive amount of healing that Kelvin can get to, but not for this game. Anyway, enough of the graphs. Oh, boy. Casting Deadlock. There's just so many things happening all the time. This is my first time casting Deadlock. It is not. I cast it a year ago. Cast it a year ago for a small tournament. I don't remember what it was called. Yeah, that was co-casting with the professional broadcast as well. Providing observing overlays and a co-caster. So a bit different. So that was just game one. Let's get into game two here. They make the match ID so small. It's a match ID for ants. All right, downloading the replay. Oh, I was like, why is this replay taking so long? I see why. No spoilers, but kind of. Checking to see if there was any mini patch, because I did have to update today, but it was just bug fixes. If you guys haven't been following this this Reddit phenomenon, this Reddit meme, by the way, you guys should. This guy is a very funny artist. He keeps on making these like brief graphics where he comes up with really stupid ideas as to making every character be able to enter into the tunnels. Going with the Popeye. What hero do you recommend for people who can't aim? Graves literally has auto aim. First of all. So that is the emo looking chick with the severed hand, holding the severed hand. So there's that, literally auto aim. Then basically you can play any character, except that you would just play Spirit. You would avoid what they call the M1 characters, because even if you play them more Spirit focused, they still do rely a lot on the damage. But there's so many characters that really don't need aim. As far as the importance of aiming in this game, I would say it's lower than almost everything else I can think of. But yeah, Graves, literally auto aim. Mo and Krill, very much on a gun guy. What else? Any melee characters? Abrams. You start casting Abrahams, and then that's what you start saying. Abrams. Support characters. Paige. Rem. Fortunately, I think some people will be pleasantly surprised with how much gun aiming doesn't matter. I don't have any bracket links for this one, but I wouldn't put it in because then that would spoil everything, I guess. All right. I can maybe change the bracket link into just what I am casting. Uh, 31. There you go. You want to play beep up late game is when aim matters less. Okay. I would say maybe his hook is an aim. And so maybe, if people really don't want to have any skill shots, if they're including skill shots with aiming, then that's still a maybe. But I'm kind of saying more find the character that you think is really fun and cool to play. Because even if it ends up being like Wraith or Haze, someone who is typically known for being a gun character, you're gonna be surprised at how much you're not punished for not being a 420, 360 no scope sniper person. Because I don't think I came into Deadlock with good aim at all. There's not many games that I play that had aiming involved. But I immediately got attached to Wraith. Your savior. Oh, dear Lord. That's a lot of pressure on me. All right, the replay is finally done. How do you change the mode on Paradox Alt? You mean the instant casts versus aim? I think that's in the settings. If you go to your hotkeys and then individual character hotkeys, I'm pretty sure that's how you change it. Because I'm 99% sure it's hero based. So you'd be in the hero specific hotkeys. Oh, right. That's left or right click. Left or right click. If I'm being perfectly honest, I forget which one it is. I'm pretty sure it's alt fire to do a single, because now it's default to multiple. Yeah. Why doesn't it say that anywhere? Does it not? Yeah, they just, there's a lot of things that they really need to update the ability tooltips for. Like right now, you can't find out what Wraith cards do in the game. You have to go somewhere else to find it. And I'm sure they'll update that eventually. What match are we casting? This is now game 2 of Leviathan versus Abrahams. But yeah, also, yeah, if you're not fully maxing your 4, then that could also be the issue. But, you know, eventually you should fully max out your 4. I'll be casting a live match Sunday, Calaris. I'll be casting the Death... To really learn the title. Death Slam Monthly Tournament number 1. You were aware already that I was casting the Death Slam Monthly Tournament number 1? How close is your ear to the ground of Deadlock tournaments? I didn't think it was that noteworthy. Doesn't the tooltip give you card mechanics? Not that I saw. I had to ask stream Wednesday what the cards did. Setting your alarm for Sunday? Yeah, thank you. It's a 10 a.m.-ish, I guess, Mountain Time. Yeah. You know, I don't even blame you. 10 a.m. Mountain. I don't even know. If you're Pacific, that's even earlier. Anyway, the replay is done, so let's get the overlay up. Make sure that we're in the right teams. Okay. And then I'm going to bring up who they vetoed. Alright, just follow them for now. Alright, so the vetoes were as such. Abrahams vetoed Kelvin and Apollo this time. And then Leviathan banned, again, Grey Talon and Mirage. So they really do not want to play against those guys. That's interesting that... so Abrahams ended up banning Kelvin, who they actually used last game. And then Apollo didn't actually make an appearance despite not being banned. Which, as far as I knew, he was being used a lot. Even after some of his nerfs, but... no, not in the last game, anyway. I did not watch the beginning game. I guess it would be the preliminary game. That's how you would call it. The preliminary game that happens for Night Shift, to be fair. And whatever was learned... What would have been Abrahams facing someone, wouldn't it? Leviathan was the defending champs. Time for Pro Wolf Lady. Sure, let's actually look at exactly what who does. As Silver. Yeah, this is some casting practice, but then as well, just learning. So, for instance, I already know something that I'm going to do with Vindicta. It was low-key W versus Abraham, so they struggled with it. It's interesting they didn't ban it then first last time, or at all, in the last map.
My ex always said I was good at pushing people
I guess I could add another text box as well. Just for the fact that it is 0-1. That's not how you do that.
This always gives me a headache. Go to hell.
That's a good place to put it, right? We can all agree on that. Good stuff. Anyway, so it's clearly very early in the game, so we are just watching how they're going to be actually using the character. And we'll pay some attention to the items that they build, but... I mean, a lot of the time, the beginning items I think are pretty monotonous.
Hope I brought enough bullets today.
So last game we had, for me, watching Paradox, right? So we have Tass really going to either of the outside lanes very frequently. Didn't really find a ton of success with that, as far as I could tell. We did have kind of officially Leviathan win that laning phase. And then they basically won, or at least evened out in every other regard. There was not a time last time where I thought that Leviathan was in a lot of trouble. even when they didn't get one of the urns, right? Speaking of urns, see the Celeste, who is the official urn taker, Riache. Riache actually getting taken down. That was nice aiming. Are we going to see any magic carpets this game? Then maybe that's the ultimate question. Sinclair isn't in this game this time. I believe that is swapped out for Demov, must have been playing them. Sonic Sniper was also playing Lady Geist. Now instead playing the Venator, which was in the last game, so someone else swapped off of that, right? No. Already some revenge going down. We have, oh my god. Actually gonna look over here. What the hell has happened over on this right side? Aggressive pushing from Abraham. Super aggressive, and they might just get punished for that. With that Riache already being up and quickly maneuvering over to the right, because that's what Celeste does. Catches them trying to retreat. Very nearly catches them trying to retreat. It does look like Venator's barely going to get away, but hot damn, that was a good call. I don't know why Abraham's pushed so aggressively. They saw some opportunity. Maybe Mo and Krill did go down. I missed that. But that's... that quick rotation made a lot of sense, and then we also had a bit of rotation from, I believe the Rem came on over. Now that is leaving. Lady Geist all by their lonesome overseas might just struggle to hold on. I mean, the Guardian's still pretty healthy. It's still pretty early on. They're probably going to keep the Guardian up, I would say, but how much damage is that going to take? Nice attempt to get the parry on the minion. Just, you know, Billy likes a melee. Doesn't occur, but fortunately doesn't have too much trouble covering this lane while Rem went to help cover the mid lane. But once again, I mean, maybe this... Yeah, I was going to say, maybe we just have Leviathan struggling on the right lane. This Pocket Venator duo is just... Oh my god, chasing so aggressively as well. Once again, Mo and Krill low. A big opportunity. Pocket's completely healthy. Venator's very healthy. Just needs to clear the lanes. And this lane Guardian, like, funnily enough, as much as this looks like this lane is being dominated by Abrahams, the Guardian is still completely healthy. And then Graves. Locke is going to keep Venator from chasing too much further, too quickly. There is another problem with replays, by the way, which we did not see in the last cast, thank goodness, but I do have to, I remembered just now having Pocket disappear from the minimap. For some reason, at some point, the replays can just lose icons, which makes Deadlock Casting even harder. It's training with weights. Fortunately, it didn't happen last time, and hopefully it doesn't happen again this time. But again, trying to chase someone down as they went pretty far forward. It is going to be Freemock chasing him down, at least hoping to, but it's not going to happen. That pocket damage, hot damn, did so much damage. Good lord. Sonic Sniper does eventually get taken down as Sai goes in for the kill. But now they're going to be chased yet again. Pocket pretty damn good at chasing, but most of the abilities are on cooldown. Ultimate also used. Almost everyone with the ultimate except Mo and Krill, who might just need to back up here and get some support on that right side. You know, on the left, Abraham's pushing aggressively there as well, looking for the snipe. And the Guardian will go down. Together is going to get taken. They're actually, the Vindictor's in trouble too. Saints in a decent amount of trouble. The Guardian on their side already went down too. And how are they going to be able to escape? As Vindicta? Apparently? Easily? No. It's not supposed to happen. Oh my god, okay. Well, just saying I would have completely died. That was 3 people that rotated over. And I was unsuccessful in grabbing the Vindicta, which Saint also did a great job in the last game. Was it Saints on Vindicta last time? Should have kept track more. Anyway, the Vindicta last game was getting so many snipes. Rotate over to the mid. We do have now the left side completely taken down. Both Guardians taken down. Little kerfuffle in the middle. And the Shiv ult now a little more difficult to actually get accomplished. There's been some positives to Shiv's changes, though, that people are actually working with quite well. But one of the downsides is obviously that if you're in range, you don't just automatically get the kill as soon as you click the button. Abraham is looking to push into this Guardian too, which is already below half health, so almost certainly going to be able to get that kill. The Rem ult could actually keep it alive for a little while longer with Riache coming in hot. continuing to try and save it, but it's just guaranteed at this point. Together might have to die for it, might have to die for it as well. They're going to try and get away. Not going to happen. There's another Guardian down. Once again, Graves. They were very important in the last game. Sometimes almost like, I'm going to say passively, but almost like the linebacker, you know? You didn't see them getting the big shots, the big kills, the big chases, but they were just steadily accruing tons of souls, defending lanes when necessary, and then obviously pushing lanes and creating a lot of scenarios in which Abrahams had all of the lanes pushed to their side of the map. As soon as that happens, you lose a lot of the map vision, you lose a lot of the opportunities, and it can really contribute to the rest of the players and how they're battling it out. Earn in 2 minutes. That'll be the next talking points. We did finally have Abrahams take down Leviathan's right side Guardian, which seemed inevitable. It seemed like it was going to happen way quicker with some of the pushing that they were doing earlier on, but actually was held for a decent amount of time. Now it is Abrahams with a bit of a lead in the early game here. So actually kind of the opposite of what happened in game number 1, where they were behind, not by much, but there was a time even where they were behind by 5K early on. Or the 1K difference, we're not going to talk about too much of the soul diff at this point, but the objective's going down, and again, that earn a minute away. I mean, pro gamers, when you hear them talk about how they're going to set up the game, it's far more of a organized, scheduled thing than what we do in a lot of the just, you know, obviously pickup games that we play with just regular old matchmaking, as well as just mapping as good as them. And that includes making sure that they're going to be in an ideal scenario at 10 minutes to try and get the earn. So while many of us would be busy trying to get these kills, maybe trying to jungle as well, they're definitely communicating, you know, how can we actually be ready to take the earn and then deliver the earn. So that includes, hey, at 9 minutes, maybe you need to think about, you know, disengaging, being in position, or even making sure that you've already gone back and bought items and been in position then with whatever items you can get as the earn appears. So it's kind of cool listening to the comms if it's ever possible. When the night shift does play out, there are pro gamers who stream. So you can try and find their streams and listen to some of the comms that happen, or just listen to them teach as well. Obviously with earn also comes the bridge buff, so being in position for that is also critical. So with Paradox in this case is able to get a spirit buff, which is quite nice. Abrahams loses 1, but they are in position on the earn, and they're absolutely going to pick that up. Now, with the right side of the map pushed so aggressively by Leviathan, and they're keeping it that way too, it's going to be difficult to actually get that earn. But that would be the next ultimate goal. So, a lot of pressure on that right side. In fact, a ton. They're going to push into the Walker, ideally grabbing this pocket. That is their goal right now. Seeing Demov so vulnerable, even though there's a Walker there, you got 3 people. It's absolutely possible that they're going to go down, and that's what they were looking for. They get it. It's good news for them, as well as a lot of damage on the Walker. The earn was dropped temporarily, going to pick it up. There could have been a chance, maybe, of sneaking it behind the back while the Walker is the target, but that could be a very dangerous game to play. Instead, it's going to be brought forward and attempts to join the battles. It's been some frame drops, but the Walker does go down. Abrahams just unable to defend that, but maybe they'll get the earn now at this point. So there's some positives here. Walker goes down. A lot of people died for Leviathan. That opens up the right side, be pushed obviously to the earn. So yes, you lost a Walker, you grabbed the earn. You also grabbed the overall team fight at the same time. We seem to have a decent amount of pushing going on the left, just by the minions really. So I did notice that Graves was being consistently in battle. They've been kind of like more in the farmland, which is not what I mean by that, but, you know, in the jungle area, being pressured by members of Abrahams. They weren't able to be in position all the time to defend the Walker, nor have they been powerful enough, you know, being outnumbered here to actually push into Abraham's Walker on that left side. So, all right. This might be the next pushing point for Team Abrahams, who have a 4K soul lead at this point. Has spotted Shiv going a little bit too deep. Shiv does still have that great mobility, especially in the hands of someone who's very good with them. And we're going to see that highlighted right now as they might just try and escape here. Some other members of Leviathan trying to come on in. The fight about to happen here. Mo and Krill does have the ult. They're going to go for it on the Billy. Can they actually get the kill fast enough, though? It only lasts a short amount of time this early on in the game. Talstai is over on that left side, continuing to, I think, keep... I was going to say the Graves busy, but... Graves is actually already dead. Maybe that's why they were in there.
See who's still standing.
This actually started because the Shiv was in a potentially problematic position, and then surprisingly enough, as the camera goes bonkers, it's going to end with the Shiv surviving and Leviathan just straight up taking the battle that occurred again because the Shiv seemed to be out of position, and it looks like Saint is going to be unable to escape at this point. Yeah, Tass is better off not engaging. All right, so a little bit of a swing back around then. As I was pointing out, though the Walker went down, Abraham was able to get some other victories. They got the urn, they got a team fight, and they were also pushing left lane quite aggressively. I say aggressively, but just quite well. They were allowing the minions to do the job as they were taking some battles with the Graves. But now it's going to turn around. That fight did go the way of Leviathan. A little bit of a soul lead for them after that as well. And we're still early on to the game, 13 and a half minutes. Not everyone is really going to be looking at using the flex slot that is available for Team Leviathan. That will become an issue soon enough. Big fight in mid. Looks like Tass is a potential target. The Affliction, how many did that hit? I'm not sure it actually hit that many, but the Venator comes out with their ult, and that's going to send a lot of Team Leviathan running away here. Once again, the Shiv on the retreat. This time around, the slick moves are not going to be able to save them, and I believe the call from Leviathan has been made. They are just too injured to continue this fight. Perhaps that's ultimate from Pocket. Got a few more people than expected. Graves was steadily pushing, given an opportunity, no longer outnumbered on that left side, but they went really deep for it, and now as that middle battle was won, was solved, Graves is just gonna have to go down, but hello? Yeah, Toss and Sonny Sniper just dying, I guess, to the ghouls. Was that what was happening? I was like, oh, this Graves is screwed, and then suddenly two people from Abraham's also go down. I guess that happens. I know there's at least one game that I was playing where the tombstone was like, I don't know, like something like here, and the ghouls actually got stuck. So some guy went around the corner and got blasted by 10 ghouls. He just instantly died. He was like 70% health. It was funny. Anyway, so not much damage taken at all for Abraham's Walker when they went over to rotate. So a little bit of a blip losing the two players, but they're back up and at it. I don't know. This might not be the real important fight, although that warp zone in very aggressively. Sai, though, swapped from the Paradox into the dangerous Walker zone. No stomp occurred, and they are going to be able to escape as they tend to do. I am a Moan Crow player, so I can say that. Are they, though? Are they, though? They're actually still being chased, seeing the opportunity. Good parry on Tass. Almost kept Sai alive, but the Vindicta was on the hunt. And now we have a gun buff that is going to go the way of Vindicta by the looks of it. Yeah, I mean, well, who are they saving it for? Ah, there we go. I was like, hold on, who was actually going gun? The Venator was coming on up. And right now, a little more soul, spirit heavy, assassinate heavy on the Vindicta. Urn was picked up. Forgot about that. Urn was indeed picked up again. And it looks like this could be clear, although the Gravestun is going to be problematic. It will eventually dissipate. The urn has been dropped. Affliction used once again. I believe that grabbed maybe two people on Leviathan. And God, observing is so difficult by yourself. Oh God, the Celeste ball. Oh no, not the ball, not the ball, not the ball. Which is what this Billy is thinking, man. Just avoid being hit by the ball again, but together in a lot of trouble still nonetheless. The Celeste goes in for the kill, taken down. Urn still remains to be grabbed. As we have multiple people on the side of Leviathan going down, it does look to go the way of Abraham's. Although it's Riash who picks it up, tries to get it, but is unable to. Still more players of Leviathan going down. That was a good attempt, I want to say, by Riash to try and sneak that in. Everything else is going to shit for Leviathan. They had actually lost the fight. If they just tried to continue the fight, they would have continued losing, right? But I think they tried to grab it and run it in. They were parried or attacked in some way, and they dropped it. Good attempt. Unable to get it. That means that Abrahams gets the fight, gets the urn. Now 9k ahead. A lot of people on this left side too. Maybe continuing to push into the left side Walker. The lanes do need to be cleared. Yeah, as you can hear, Broadway is under attack. This Walker for Abrahams is in trouble. Remember, they lost that Walker on the right side minutes ago at this point. I was pointing out that maybe the flex slot hasn't been used by Leviathan quite yet, but at this point, 100% has. At least one or two players, and that is going to contribute to, well, you think, team fights, although the last one did not go well for Leviathan. The combination of, I'm sure, certainly pocket damage, just overall damage, but then also, obviously, when they get their ult, with a couple of characters who have these assassinations, literally assassinate when it comes to Vindicta, can be such a brutal combo, but then for Venator, who doesn't actually have anything upgraded, yeah, into the ultimate. It is when it's fully upgraded. The final stake is blessed. Oh, the final stake, that's right, is in execute. There you go. The point is, even without the actual executes as a tag, Venator ult does a lot of damage. So if you're ever low health, you're going to be in trouble. And those are just combos that are going to be brutal. I'm waiting for a Billy pocket combo too. Both of their ults being combined together could be quite good. Haven't seen it, I don't believe, quite yet. So for a little while, Leviathan's taken some good fights, but Abraham's starting to control that narrative. Still have yet to get an objective for the team fights, though, and that will continue to be a sore point. I mean, they're winning as far as souls go, and they continue taking good fights, then taking good fights, but you do want to turn that over into killing an objective, opening up that flex slot, especially as we continue on into, I mean, it's 18 and a half minutes. They still don't have a flex slot open, although, hello, that is just completely undefended. Okay, well, I blinked and I missed it, which is one thing, but, yeah, poor Leviathan not having anything protecting the left side. I guess Graves maybe designated, defender of the lane, unable to do so by their lonesome, and then just focusing on trying to push down the middle, which he did get the walker. That's 2 walkers down now for Abrahams, but the flex slot finally did open. Now how is the fight going to turn out? Leviathan taking the losses first and foremost, and we could have maybe Toss go down. No, they're going to be fine. Celeste was pushing very aggressively again. So the 2 walkers down, actually the lane's being pushed into the lane guardians too, is still this overall objective issue that Abrahams is having. So as much as they're winning some of these team fights and winning in the souls, again, they're going to be down a flex slot. And I guess that trade was worth it because, again, they left that left side walker so completely open. It was an easy grab for Abraham. So then have them convert that into being able to converge in mid and take the fight too is just the unintended consequence of letting that go. Not quite going to be able to get Saints, but Celeste continue trying to razzle-dazzle. I mean, Riash, you think they're going to die for sure, and then they don't, and then Celeste comes back in after just a little bit of health regain, and suddenly they're still contributing to the fight. It can be a beautiful thing to watch, and also very annoying if you're on the side of Abrahams, but they seem to be taking her out more frequently, more conclusively, not allowing the Celeste to escape. This would be a good time to continue the momentum, as the urn is being taken up by Tass. Mid is going to be clear for them to go ahead and optimize their movement through, I would expect. Maybe not. I mean, optimally, you go through the middle, right? Take this, bump off this, and this, but safely taking the urn is another issue. And Toss is going to take a safer path to it, but as the urn seems to be the focus for Abrahams, Leviathan seems to be more so focusing on trying to take a fight. Trying to find someone a little too far forward, but just backing into the lane guardians. Abrahams, all of their lanes are pushed at this point. So even though there wasn't a lot of people over on the right side, and that particular lane was pushed a little bit, did not think that they could actually go and grab that. So going to keep it back into their base for a little while longer. They had to also worry about the left walker being pushed a little bit. Now they pushed that lane back, and it's kind of more even on that note. But a lot of hesitation, I think, about committing to the urn take. Clearly, Leviathan trying to get into their own optimal position to defend it. And this might be it. Leviathan going for the Rem ult. Doesn't actually find anyone. Riash gets taken down. Wait, I'm not actually even sure where they got taken down. And now Leviathan already down a member, although they are in position to try and stop the urn. And Silver is going to appear on the mini-map, so it is still technically a 5v5.
I see crew.
I need to make sure that no one gets picked off again, and that Paradox ult is ready to go for instance, a pick. Bo and Krill, they're going to be taken down. That is a lot of damage being taken from them. Sai goes down. Saints goes down. Venator was forced to drop the urn to try and participate in the fights. they are now getting to. They have the ultimate ready to go as well, and there it is. Yeah, that Graves in a whole lot of trouble. No matter which direction they go, they do get taken down. And Leviathan is losing some members here. Lady Geist is going to go down too. Leviathan struggling in some of these team fights. Now down 22k. Ern was gotten. They're in the midst of all of this. And it seems like Abraham's really starting to dominate in this game. I mean, 22k ahead at the end of this battle. 2 people still down as well, with Toss getting in position to potentially stop Celeste from being able to escape. Thought that might be what they're going for. Celeste is going to be able to escape. But now they can converge and maybe go for this mid. The left side has been pushed completely. Graves having to get involved in the fight. It's not really getting to be as much of a stickler as far as the lane guarding goes, I think, as the last game. They've been struggling certainly far more. At this point in time last game, I believe they're already at 30k. And then just the rest of the lanes also push, so needing to take care of that first. This is a lot of time for Abrahams to figure out the game plan, to take advantage of what is now a significant soul lead. Again, it's funny that this game, they've been at that soul lead. Now, this is a tremendous soul lead, but they've been at a soul lead for so long, they haven't exactly converted into these objective kills. This has been a point I've been talking about for the last 10 minutes, but, you know, at times they have had their lanes all pushed. They prioritize some of the other objectives, like an Urn or like taking a good team fight, but they haven't actually gotten all of their flex slots open, which is just more and more of an issue, potentially. Potentially. I keep saying potentially because technically they've been down a flex slot for quite some time, and yet they have been taking the fights more and more convincingly.
Let's go to Broadway. Let's go yellow.
Intros with a grenade and shotgun fully upgraded for a crossbow. So many guides. Yeah, I mean, it's a big thing that feels really good and looks really good too. When suddenly it's executing everyone. But yeah, as someone's pointing out, actually has more healing reduction for Geist and Rem, Mo and Celeste. These are all choices that they're actually going to be making where typically, you know, a guide is going to be kind of like a general catch-all situation. This is a generally good thing. This, amongst the pros, going to have a little more of this. Okay, what do we need to actually deal with these guys? Now let's actually take a look at some of the items that are here before the next team fight happens. Urn's going to be up in 9 seconds. So that might be the next focus. I love Rem just chilling out and hiding currently. They're in trouble if they're found out. There's so many people there. But you know, Abraham's by the on fire ports, you can tell they're doing pretty well. So holding on to about a 20k soul lead, and there is the soul Urn going to be the next fight. And I think if they win this fight, they're going to be going mid next. Not something that we've seen as of yet. Last game, mid was taken at 17.5 minutes. This time around, not as many clear options to go for it.
Our yellow walker is under attack.
But this Silver being one of the richest players in the team, you know, we had the Billy last time, I believe, be quite rich. And they did start to feel a little bit unstoppable. Well, now it is the Silver who's got that plated armor, too. Do we have a lot of gun? Actually, I'm surprised by the plated armor. Someone tell me why plated armor was the play here when there's only really 2 gun characters on the other team. Love to know. So even though I keep saying around 20k solely, it's not quite right. It's only 14k, in fact, as I'm speaking. So the Urn has actually never been at a disadvantage for Abrahams. Still at an even point. This battle could determine a lot of things, though. I mean, not only whether or not Abrahams gets Urn, but whether or not they get the Walker, or they make the choice to go for mid. Should they take the battle again, just following the trends? Leviathan, sure, trying to calculate how they can take a better fight. A lot of times in the previous battle, they've had a person picked off right off the bat. Celeste, actually, very often. Which might happen again. The Paradox swap, hoping to bring them into a more vulnerable position, but they are sneaky. They're able to get out and still support the other side of the battle. Affliction did impact some people. Together has gone down, so it's a big loss there in the side of Abrahams, but then we also had Overseas and Lady Geist go down too. Can the Venator get some executions, trying to chase down that Celeste, a little bubble, a little protection, little warp stone, and they are out of there, also supported by their Rem. You just can't catch a Celeste, man, but you're not catching the Celeste, you're opening up the zone that is to take the Urn. You're pushing people away from the true objective, and that was successful. The Urn taken once again by Team Abrahams, but no tremendous losses on the side of Leviathan like some of the previous fights. So it's not as clear as to whether Leviathan will get, more punished for this. Well, they do lose side too, trying to push into this walker, carry some of the momentum that they think that they have. I mean, the urn was gotten, but they still had 5 people up, excuse me, and they thought they can continue pushing in. Not actually the case. And with Sai going down, it looks like they're going to be forced to disengage. Billy's back up as well, zipping on forward, coming in for the fight till the Saint is taken down before they can help out. The battle will continue on until morale concludes on both sides. Everyone is coming into this fight. This is actually going to be it, apparently. Everyone coming in, 1 person down for each team. Walker is a nice protection point for Abrahams to fall back to, however, so that's always going to be that defender's advantage they could rely on. Silver transforms into the werewolf, but not seeing an open opportunity to go after anyone. Paradox swap on the Shiv, but not able to get a lot of damage on him. The pocket affliction was very effective, and now Lady Geist in a whole lot of trouble. Does have the ult, but isn't getting close enough to anyone to actually be able to take care of it. The Rem, seconds away from saving overseas, did not get the timing, is taken down. And that is, unfortunately, Leviathan losing 1 member, but then really losing more than that, because both Graves and Shiv were near death. Abraham's able to win the fight, push back, keep that walker alive, and now are they going to be thinking about mid? We have Billy pointing out that they do not have their ultimate, so maybe this is just, information gathering. Can they actually take it? Should they try to take it? I feel like there's a hesitation, like actual conversation that must be happening. The decision is going to be made. Maybe they're waiting. They could even try and play out maybe more like take it down to 50% and see what happens, but I think the call has been made. Go for mid. We actually can't see how fast they're killing it, which is kind of a sucky thing about the replay, I guess. But presumably quickly, and there you have it. Quickly enough. They got almost everyone involved. Leviathan isn't close enough to stop 2 regions from being taken. Fremont is able to steal 1. The Moan Krill ult is going to take down Paradox and take out at least that 1 rejuve. Only 1 rejuve left over, and it is for Leviathan. They are not overall really winning the fight. They are, in fact, losing it. As Fremont goes down, Moan Krill is out of there, or they are going to die too. There they go. And it looks like Abrahams is going to be taking another fight, increasing their soul lead up to 30k, by the way. Demov with another affliction as well. And the Rem ult does manage to sleep too. But I don't know if it's in time. The Lady Geist swap is very effective. That is going to help take out both of them. And I thought Abrahams won the fight. Not quite. Not quite. There's still a little bit more in the tank there for Leviathan. And we now even have Celeste chasing down Paradox. Even though Celeste has less health, I think they just have a lot of confidence. Grabs the buff. Maybe that'll help take the fight after all. The chase continues on. But Abrahams didn't win that fight. They lost out on more players. That was an extended battle. It was them getting the rejuve. It was them getting 2 of them. They probably wanted more. I mean, they wanted a straight-up win, didn't they? They wanted a straight-up win. But they still had this soul lead to fall back on. Thankfully, the way that the waves were forming as well, while this walker was in a little bit of danger during that mid-battle, didn't actually go down. So that's silver lining, I suppose, at the end of things, when it, again, did not go as well as Abrahams was hoping for. Leviathan really just fighting back here. Not letting this 20k soul difference, it's been fairly consistent. Keep them down. Keep them out of the fight. Low morale. Like, they are doing all the things that you would want to do to try and bring this game back. Making good decisions, taking good enough plays, finally getting a good engagement for them, too. And there you see them actually be able to return the urn, finally at an advantage for them as well. Because, again, they've been down souls at times. Seems like a decent amount, and it's never actually been an advantage for them. Finally is. And they're bringing it back. 10k soul difference. Still have more flex slots too. Just a reminder. 31.5 minutes. And Abrahams, again, never able to really roll the ball forward. They take some good fights. Not able to get the mid-boss as much as they were hoping for. At the end of the day, they kind of lost out on it overall. And not able to just find an open opportunity to grab another walker of their opponents. They've been consistently forced to disengage at times, too, with at least 1 or 2 of their players to clear lanes. Their lane guardians have actually been under attack, so it's Abrahams that's still losing out on the objectives. You can see Poor Moore and Krill just getting bodied by everyone and yet still somehow surviving. Nope, not quite. Yep. Eventually, the Vindicta execution does come in. We now have Venator trying to as well. This fight could determine whether Abrahams finally gets that second flex slot. Take a look from their perspective. Graves once again getting involved in the fight. Had a tremendous amount of gun damage done in the last games. Not able to be quite the highlight player this time around, but maybe eventually I'll get to be on fire too. This is Abrahams backing further and further away. Seems like there was a sleep on Billy, perhaps to try and help escape. Together goes back into the fight that's happening on the more so the front lines. And it's Leviathan who's a little disjointed right now. Abraham's getting involved on only 2 players Leviathan. The rest of Leviathan still playing the catch-up game. And Silver does try and take down Celeste, but Celeste is just a little too good. Hoot is in fact the one to fall at that particular fight. A little disjointed, as I was saying. So 3 members of Team Leviathan do go down. Rem's still being chased. Freemock as well. I guess Rem's actually hiding somewhere. Yeah, it's still being chased. Here we go. There we go. We got to go down a couple of levels. Here we go. Yeah. Healthy, but certainly going to die. Don't think you're running away from this one. Now, mid had been taken so recently. This is not the next goal for Abraham, despite grabbing 4. Ideally, this would be the Walker, which was taking damage from the minions by the looks of it. So now it's down to more like 25% health. If they do not get this, I'd be very surprised. Task getting on the backside, making sure there's multiple forms of attack, and there you have it. Finally... How long were they missing that second flex slot compared to their opponents? 15 minutes? Jesus. Oh no, we're getting that bug too, by the way. The Vindicta snipe is gonna just keep on sounding. Isn't that wonderful? A downside of playing a game and being casting from replay in a game that, yeah, we'll just call it is in beta. Mr. Chaz, thank you very much for the 47 months. The plated armor blocks the Celeste Light Eater. Okay, interesting.
Headed to Greenwich.
And so that's just generally a good thing to have against her. And by that I mean, I assume that you mean that the Light Eater would still affect, but then it's just to make sure that the Celeste gun damage after isn't as effective. But there's nothing in guns, so is it? Has that enemies take spirit damage and provides her spirit lifesteal. I have to get expanded on how that would work. Unless you're talking about something else, but I don't think I brought up any other items. It's actually Silver who goes for Divine Barrier, by the way. Task going with the Echo Shard, especially after the patch. It's been a lot more about the grenades when it comes to Paradox. If you can get 2 grenades on a team battle, it does so much damage. It just I mean, look how big this gets. Look how big this gets. Jesus. Look like the entire lane. It is with greater expansion, but still. After a bit of a lull, so I was able to check out some items. We do have the urn picked up and another fight brewing. How many people did he just chain there? God, quite a bit, but then... Now in a bit of trouble as they were a little alone. Nice save, Vindicta. Wait, what saved? What pulled him back? Yeah, it was. That's what I thought it was. Rescue beam. Vindicta has the rescue beam. I guess always far away. Obviously, always trying to use the flight to stay far away from the battle for Vindicta's own sake. But then also being able to incorporate some support. That is interesting. They did not get the Divine Kevlar this time either, which I was pointing out the benefits in the last game, but rather they've also gone for Echo Shard. Where do they put Echo Shard on? Ow, into the stake. I was going to say, nothing else really makes sense, does it? Yeah, but yeah, the stake. Ideally keeping players in place for a very long time. Speaking of being kept in place, poor Vindicta gets warp stoned on by Mo and Krill, but barely able to survive. Still could be a target. Graves gets in here, doing a lot of damage with that gun. So much damage, and then also, again, taking away damage. That is a real benefit of Graves' gun, especially when you upgrade it. That fight did not go well at all for Abraham. Started off with a Billy trying to grab. It was like 4 people that Billy grabbed with the ultimate. So that was probably going to be a good ultimate. I think if Abraham's was in a better position is what I'm going to assume went wrong right there. Despite him being saved with the rescue beam, still Abraham's, the way that they're converging on the fight, was a bit more awkward. Feels like it needs a bit of adjusting, the grenade. Oh, yeah. You kind of want Riash in here. As we do have a pause, so you can take a look. Riash is the richest, and despite not being as slippery as many times, has still shown a lot of slippiness, right? Slipperiness. And certainly one of their key players, certainly. They're back. They're doing fine. And we are seeing Leviathan take advantage of the fact they just killed 3 players to go for mid. Now, this is where Paradox can be really good. Paradox is seconds away from having the ult, but that mid boss went down really fast. I don't think Paradox is going to be able to help out here. Attempt to at least steal 1. Hoot manages to grab 1. Can they get another? They do! Hoot stealing 2 rejuves and then turning into the wear-off to try and escape. Has to use a rejuve. Can they escape beyond that? As, funnily enough, they are back in a human form despite what that rejuve showed. They might just be able to. And Hoot might have just saved the day. I mean, again, there's been a consistent soul lead for Team Abrahams. But that would have been a tricky position for them to be in. If all 3 rejuves went to Team Leviathan when he still had 2 people down, now they're finally rezzing again. Obviously, this pushes right down the middle or right over to that left side and finally grabs that last flex slot. So, we've been talking about Abrahams missing the second flex slot, which they finally got a couple of minutes ago. You know, one sticking point for Team Leviathan is that they've never been able to get that last walker and open that up. But they've been kind of recovering from a string of bad battles, but certainly they have recovered. In fact, now they're going to get another urn by the looks of things. No one was there to tell a Celeste player that it was wide open, but they're just going to go for it. 100%. Bouncing around. They probably saw that it was open around here, I would guess. And they do get the urn without anything being done about it. Abrahams now behind for the... Is this the first time in like 38 minutes that Abrahams is behind on souls? God, this game has been... If you just looked at the numbers up top, you would have assumed that Abrahams would have won, especially the first time they got a 20k soul lead. But the objectives, the lanes consistently being pushed, the overall game that is Deadlock as a MOBA did not go as well for them as the team fights. And this is just the pull and push that Deadlock can actually be, where it's absolutely not a hero shooter. It's also not 100% a MOBA, but obviously a combination of a lot of things. And then, well, finally we're seeing Leviathan win out for some of the things they did really well. Now actually winning, although we'll see how this fight does go on. We got that ball bouncing around, dealing a lot of damage, nearly taking out Saints too, but just barely not, and the ball is dissipated. Riash also taken down. Lady Geist swap looks to take down Sonya's sniper on Venator, but maybe going a little too deep for that. Unable to take it down. Rem trying to save Lady Geist. Cheat death activates. So Lady Geist will be involved in the next fight potentially, although at a very, very, very low health. So, I mean, but it's, do you actually try and escape? Do you come back in to help out the rest of your teammates? Well, with the rest of the teammates already being kind of screwed, the call has been made. Just get the heck out of there. Rem going to follow suit, and they're just leaving Fremont to try and movement his way out of this chase. 4 members of Abraham's on the chase. They definitely want another pick here, and they're not going to quite be able to find it. Bridge buffs are up. We had, I think Overseas did actually. They retreated that way, so they get it. So whatever that was, I'm not sure they got, but they get it. It was a movement, so that's nice for them. And I think Abraham's able to get the other one. And the urn, once again, could be a talking point, but just the consistent talking point is how many times we've seen Leviathan, technically lose a fight. They lose more players overall, as Fremont actually did eventually get found out, but they have to go back and clear lanes. The loss of the walkers earlier on, maybe the flex slot didn't stop them from winning a bunch of fights, right? But it has stopped them from being able to carry on with more momentum because they've always had to go back and clear up the lanes. Then the lane guardians went down when they couldn't clear up the lanes reliably. So again, even more pressure to go back. I mean, their shrines are actually below half health, and that is 100% due to the minions, isn't it? I don't believe we ever saw Leviathan actually push into their base, so... God, this is really a highlight game for what Deadlock is as such a hybrid of genres. Oh God, fight continuing on Ball maybe not going to be as effective this time around just because Abraham's actually not going to take the fight. Urn was actually not deposited at any point. It was taken and then retreated with by Leviathan, so they are going to pick that up again and try and go for it. Now, they do not have their Shiv. Fremont still has another 25 seconds to go. Are they going to go ahead and wait for that? They might. They probably should. The Graves checking out the scenario, setting up their tombstone, which, yeah, they'll be able to protect well enough. There's going to be a lot of ghouls helping out. The grenade into the swap, but then, okay, the Geist swap keeps her nice and healthy. Looks like Hoots really wants the kill, but that is a almost fully healthy Lady Geist with the Rem supporting too. And now we have potentially a really good Rem sleep. Well, at least on one character. Good affliction after being able to survive. Okay, they are going to finally die. Not his pocket out of the way. I'm not even sure affliction actually got that many people. Another ball? Wait, did you already use the ball? God. And there's oh wow, so many tier 4s on this Celeste. They're so rich. Got 57k. My goodness, if the fight's done, and it does look to be done, just to highlight what Celeste is doing. So they have Ethereal Shift, so if you're already frustrated because you can't catch them, and you do catch them, you still don't barely kill them, well, now they got the E-Shift, so you're really not killing them. Then you have, Transcendent Cooldown, just make sure that they have abilities on abilities on abilities. But I was actually looking at the Lightning Scroll, so stunning on the Celeste Ball is so obnoxious, so obnoxious. And check out the damage of that at the end of the game, but another battle is occurring. This time around, we do have lanes more pushed for Abrahams. It's not on the lane, it's actually going to push into a walker, so that's still kind of a bummer. So damn close on the overall souls. We finally have a pair of base guardians go down. As I said, Abraham's finally getting a fight where a couple of lanes are pushed in their favor. Not to the walker, but to the lane guardians. Demov being the only sacrifice for that pseudo battle right there, but they're going to be up and running with another ult very, very soon. As far as the rich people on the other side of the team, I was pointing out how rich Celeste is, who is rich on Team Abrahams. Well, they do have the Venator being the richest. And I'm not sure about their goal, I guess, of being the richest on the team. Not that you're always able to just say, like, hey, we want this person to have the most souls, but Silver, I think, being rich is definitely important. Being able to be on those front lines and well protected, dealing all that damage too once you're in werewolf form. Obviously, you need to stay alive for a very long time. Fremont goes down, and Fremont is kind of one of the weaker links as far as the souls go. They're getting taken down faster, unable to use their movement to escape like they were earlier on in the game. Back at 20 minutes, we're at 44-minute game. This is unlikely to happen in the professional scene, and my replay apparently is just not enjoying it. More and more frames are being lost. But this pocket might just be able to escape. Leviathan taking a lot of damage right there, losing 3 of their players, and not quite grabbing 3. No, they should. Pocket's good at surviving, but not that good. They've used all their tricks. They are out of them. And there you have it. So that is 3 for 3. Not quite done yet. This is on Abraham's side of the map, but it is Celeste we're looking at, and if she's good at anything, it is escaping. So low on health, however, the bubble not going to protect them long enough. They are also taken down. But since this is on Abraham's side of the map, remember that is something to consider here. And also, this fight's still not over. Leviathan still looking to take more of the fight, as they've got the Silver a little cornered, a little bit, not quite enough, and a rescue beam is going to save them from death. As I was trying to say, the fact that this is all happening on Abraham's side of the map, oh, and the lane was pushed again, God, means that even if, technically, Abraham's wins the battle, they killed more people, they're not able to push that into anything. They'd be so busy clearing lanes to give a tremendous amount of time to Leviathan to recover if they really needed to, and that they did a bit, but they have already. Most of their players coming back up. Their minions killed the walker for them, where their last walker basically untouched. It got touched by a minion, I think, but it's just to say it's untouched. Oh, Jesus, this is a very long game for professional. This is a long game for any one of us. But for professional games, which I think tend to be more on the average of literally 25 minutes, God, and it's just such, it's that balance of mechanics and how much that we've seen. Abrahams went out as far as the team battles go. but Leviathan went out on more of the mobile mechanics. The rescue beam taking Silver along with him. Or taking Mo and Krill along with him. Excuse me. Oh, Jesus. I'm getting too caught up. I can't believe these players want to play this game for very much longer, but Abrahams, who had the lead for so long, just couldn't convert it into anything. Leviathan refuses to die. We are getting to this late of a game in Deadlock, though, where a battle could really determine the game. Even though there's still some objectives to clear out, a very good battle, one that you go ahead and wipe the team, right, which has yet to happen, would probably determine the actual winner in such a close game. But it has yet to happen. Always, we look at the scoreboard, we see that a couple people are alive on either side, mostly even trades as far as the kills have gone. And this time around, it is Leviathan who's desperately trying to make sure that is still the case, but they have lost 3 players. This is now the most imbalanced fight that has happened in minutes, as 2 lanes have been pushed up as well for Abrahams. They might be able to continue this forward and get another pair of base guardians, perhaps even some shrines. 4 people are dead for Leviathan. This seems like the good opportunity. Obviously, you go for mid first. That's going to happen very quickly. Nothing that Leviathan can do about it. That was the fight that I was kind of talking about. One that is finally very much in favor of one team. And this late into the game, you're all dealing a tremendous amount of damage. You're killing objectives super fast. You're going to be killing individuals very fast. So one person can't really stall out the game for that much. And this should give Abrahams another big lead. Perhaps their biggest lead, in fact. The other big leads that they had, again, that 20k-ish soul lead for so long in the mid-game. Now maybe even more in the souls, but I'm looking at the objectives. They are headed right towards that right walker. It has been alive for 48 minutes, and it is time for it to die. Leviathan are not willing to give up. They send everyone they have. No, away. Sorry, there was a couple of people there, but they decided not to defend it. They even set up the tombstone, so there was that, should we just go ahead and rush to try and defend it? And then the call was, no, just let it go. And do not try and take the fight against the 3 rejuves. And perhaps that it was the better call to make. Losing a fight there because you only brought 4 people, because it was just going to be, it was going to go down so fast as well. Like, you really had to be in front of it at this stage to stop the walker from just dying really, really quickly. And you don't want to be in front. That's how you get picked off. That's how you get killed very quickly. You can't be losing one person at a time. You got to regroup, take another team fight, and hope that the team fight this time around goes more in your favor. That is the hope now for Leviathan, as we do indeed see the biggest lead of Abrahams for this game, for this incredibly long game. Another thing that I want to note is, like, so much of maybe like the higher league of Deadlock, but not the highest league. All right, that's a big difference, all right? For the StarCraft people in my chat, there's a lot of you, the difference of Master to Grandmaster, Grandmaster to Professional, leaps and bounds between all that, right? But the same thing in Deadlock. Anyway, in a higher league, you'll see the farm, the jungle cleared out so much. Most of the game, probably. But when it comes to the highest skill, there's more important objectives. There's more communicating. There's more things to actually lead to the end of the game. Now, this game has lasted forever, but this is an anomaly. Usually they are able to do the 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, we won the game. And it seems like we're finally at that point. We're finally at a point of no return. Abraham's able to take a very good fight late into the game, get the rejuve, take another fight, now killing people off individually, get the shrines, get at least the patron to drop, and in my opinion, just win the game at this point. Finally has happened. It was neck and neck for the last, I want to say 10 minutes, 10, 15, right? Before that last fight. But to remember that for the first 30-ish minutes, it was Abraham's. Goes to show just how tenacious Leviathan is. Abraham's were not able to do the thing that we typically see in professional games, which is get a lead, keep the soul lead too for such an extended period of time, and then just kind of turn it into wins, turn it into the walker wins, turn it into the lane guardians going down, turning it into the actual win. Leviathan were able to play around the deficit and make this last 51 minutes, and they had a chance apparently at every time except after the last battle. GG's. God. Deadlock can go very, 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 very long. Apparently Venator was critical here. Apparently. It craves 100k damage. Oh my god. That is so much. I wanted to check something out, but for the life of me, I can't remember what, because I said at like minute 25, didn't I? I was like, I'm gonna check this out in the graphs later. That was optimistic. What the hell was it? The ball, probably. I think it was a Celeste ball. Yeah, 6-figure damage, 100k damage. Like, when Graves gets involved in a fight with the multi-attack that she gets with the auto-aim, and that's, you know, to be clear, the professional, very good Deadlock player doesn't necessarily need the auto-aim, but you kind of do, I guess, when you're shooting more than 2 people at once, to be fair. Anyway, it just can be an insane amount of damage. Damage dealt by type. Yeah, I mean, if the lightier being kind of the addition, I guess, with the actual gun damage, what I'm assuming is what we're talking about here. It's always kind of gonna makes Celeste look a little weird. But I was looking for the Shining Wonder, which, you know, having now to say it more often in casting, I'm really getting the pull to just scream Shining Finger. If you have not watched G Gundam, then you think that's a weird thing for me to say. But if you have watched G Gundam, then you're an OG. And you're probably old. Welcome to the club. And, well, if you have watched it, you probably didn't like it. No, it wasn't a particularly popular Gundam. But it was the only one that I liked. Anyway, was there someone else that I wanted to check on? It's good to always check Pocket Affliction. It's so difficult to see exactly how many people are afflicted. Wow, his Barrage did the most damage. That would never happen in my games. Okay, at the end. Interesting. Barrage is such a weird ability. It's not an AoE, but it attacks in a pattern, I guess you can say. But one that it can be so awkward. I mean, if it is a team battle, if everyone is kind of grouped up together, fair enough, you're going to get the Barrage to hit 9 times out of 10. But it's not the same as like a big AoE where if you just, you know, you cast it and it hit everyone right then. Barrage has this weird time delay. So that's why I'm surprised that it actually does this much damage. Exactly. It's difficult to hit with so much of the time. But apparently he's very good with it. Venator, who had upgraded tier 1, the grenade. You can see that, how much damage he was doing. No doubt also actually good with the bounces and the angles of using the grenade, which I'm still getting used to. So that it actually always hits rather than bounces right behind the group fight. I mean, yeah, it's just a very different way of playing Venator to what most people are going to be doing with Pulse Grenade. Now, I mean, even before, it was always one of the highest damage dealers, but definitely now. Isn't it funny? The Crow Familiar dealing almost as much damage as Assassinate, going for the Spirit build. Checking out some items. I was just pointing out, not getting the Diviner's Kevlar this time around, but rather Echo Shard. Trying to get them staked, trying to get them unable to move far more often. Can combo clearly with the Pocket ults. So can the Billy ult with the Pocket ult. And then if Pocket gets an ult on a couple people, they're guaranteed to get into low health. Then suddenly the Assassinates come in. Can be a very good combination. And then Paradox is always just like good at, obviously, the AoE with the Pulse Grenade, sure, but the picks, actually getting a swap and making sure that someone dies. So a lot of damage, but not as much as the Graves, apparently. And it's so much of the weapon damage. That's so crazy to look at. I get Ricochet, Inhibitor, Leech, Siphon Bullets. And they got Unstoppable too. Being able to actually escape. Split Shot. How does that even look on Graves? Oh, interesting. Celeste gets Scourge. I guess they get in. Celeste, you know, they get in with their bubble, their 2, and they get out very quickly as well. But then I was pointing out that lightning scroll for the ball combo is just so annoying. But I was wondering, I was wondering if they were putting it on anyone else. And they must have been putting it on, given the opportunity. Fremok did start to, whoopsie-daisy. Fremok did start to die quicker and quicker as the game went on. I would like to go back and look at the replay, but it's such a long replay. And see how many times they actually put it on themselves, especially if they're going to die, for instance, which is something else that, at the end of the day, I mean, Shiv was one of the first characters who could showcase mobility with good players. And then Celeste came along and was like, yuck. I'm gonna do it, and even more. Yeah, right. Scourge would usually go on what we presume is to be the more tankier characters. I was saying Warp Zone a lot of time, but it was actually Phantom Strike. My bad. Maybe it wasn't for a while. I feel like I heard the sound effect for Warp Zone. But I don't know when they swapped over. And then Moe and Krill, not really a lot of damage dealing with Moe and Krill. As you can see, you know, look at these numbers, right? So they're gonna be the ones to kind of get supporty, I guess. They're there for the ults. Little ult bot. Little mole ult. And that seems really surprising for Lady Iced. Okay. Alright. This means there's one more game to go, guys. There's one more game, because that actually makes it 1-1. One more game to go. I gotta go get the replay. My wish right now is that the next big patch fixes camps, like improves camps, improves mid-boss, and improves replays. That's my wish. We're not to the replay store. One thing that does kind of suck, I mean, people can cover the replay. They might even add an option that the replay ID is not shown. They might add private. I don't know if that exists in Dota. But you know, if they never do, you can literally cover the replay with something. This is what StarCraft casters used to have to do, because you couldn't get rid of the timer in a replay. You couldn't collapse it. You couldn't get rid of it. It just showed if you were in a replay. So that's where you would put your socials, you know, or just a picture. But I was going to say, one of the downsides of having super accessible replays is that then no one can monetize them. Like, content creators can't monetize them. But I'm sure they can. I'm sure, you know, smaller tournament organizers who do like sub replays or Patreon replays probably just cover it. Add matchmaking fixes. The problem with adding any match fixing is absolutely not what I meant to say. Matchmaking fixes is that it seems to be the monkey's paw every time. Because they have literally in patch notes said, you know, addressed matchmaking. And then, you know, how long does that actually work? Is it ever said we looked at matchmaking and changed it? And then everyone is like, it's beautiful now. Probably not. I feel like it's so day dependent for me. One day it feels totally fine. The other day you realize Oh, I lost like all the games today, and also there was one person who was far and away the best in the lobby. You like Slippiness better? My family says Slippy instead of Slippery. And I'd always known that Slippery was the right way to say it. Like if I was writing, I would type Slippery. But in my head, Slippy. Every time. And every time people will be like, the guy from Star Fox? They'd be like, never played Star Fox. Oh, for sure it has to have a rank reset. I mean, when the game officially releases, they have to have a reset. They might keep some type of hidden MMR in the back just so people who are good, you know, aren't in Initiate forever. Or maybe they'll do, you know, 10 ranked games to actually put you in a rank again, but with the amount of people who will flood in once the game releases, not because I'm optimistic on Deadlock, just because that's the way it goes, right? That's the way it goes with video games. People come in when it releases. They'll have to. They'll have to. Slippy. Really? Rally drivers say Slippy too? Okay, I feel a lot better. I don't know if it was a Pennsylvanian thing, but that's the side of the family that would use it all the time. Should basically just be added to the dictionary. Maybe it already is. Error, replay not ready for download. Haven't gotten that yet. Might have to restart. Yeah, it seems like I'll have to restart. There's also not an option to delete the replay, so I don't know if replays can literally bug out so much that they just can't be played. And then we'll never know who wins. Except for actually looking at the VOD or Liquipedia. All right, second attempt at downloading this replay. You guys doing anything fun this weekend? I'm going to the Nuggets game tonight. I got my Nuggets gear on. They should really bring back the old logo. They have it for merchandise, but they don't have it on their uniforms. And I think we should just bring back silly logos on NBA uniforms. I also had to take care of my brother's dog today, and I have to do it tomorrow as well. Who I think is a very good puppy, because all puppies are cute, and all puppies are good. But, TMI alert. Puppy had diarrhea this morning, so that was super fun. Cleaning it all up. Raptors do have a cool logo. They have a merchandise line where it's like all like old. They have a, is it the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ones? It might be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ones that incorporates the Raptor logo. But yeah, there's a, I mean, there's collabs everywhere. Does he get along with cats? They do not. No, they didn't grow up with them. You know, they took their dogs to our houses. I don't know, like 5 times maybe in their whole lives. So Yeah. My sister-in-law is also allergic to cats, so my brother kind of wants one, but... Anyways, he's an old pupper. He did this when my dad watched him a couple months back. He did the same thing, so I don't think it was anything that I did. I'm kind of wondering if it's some type of, like, anxiety reaction, which sucks for them. It's already more annoying to find people to look after the dogs than it is cats. But if you have to warn everyone that they're going to have explosive diarrhea, ain't no one looking after your dog. So I'll go do that, give him a nice long walk, and then I'm off to the Nuggets game. Speaking of, there's a cat, by the way, right? But he's just not super cat cam. There has been a cat in my lap this entire time. He can get his little thumper going. Yesterday, it's still downloading. This is why this is why it's story time right now. I don't know if this is gonna break again. Yesterday, I played my first game of kickball, cup in hand kickball, and it was a lot more annoying than I was anticipating. I was mostly amused, right, because it's funny. Paolo's very needy. Thank you. Anyway, yeah, it just sounded mostly funny, right? But then you actually play kickball with the cup in your hand. So the cup has to be in your hand, and it has to have, like, this much liquid in it at any time. If it doesn't, if you, like, catch a ball, but your cup doesn't have liquid in it, then it actually is ineligible. Like, you didn't catch it. But it's just so annoying, you know? Like, you feel like the most uncoordinated person in the world having to hold a cup and also, like, catch or pick up or throw. It's like one of the, you know, an actual kickball again. It's, you know, the rubber one. You feel so uncoordinated. Cup in hand just to make it harder. I mean, yes, it's harder. It's also just sillier, right? Because it's a silly for fun league, you know, and it's also kind of encourages, like, it's kind of a place that encourages drinking. So we do flip cup after, so you could have actual alcohol in your cup. Not something I would suggest, however, as I learned. Some guy brought White Claw. You're allowed to bring your own beer and whatnot. So some guy brought White Claw along with the cups. And so, you know, I poured a little in. Just enough, because I was like, well, I don't want it sloshing around, right? So I didn't, like, fill it. I just put in just enough. You can't help. You can't help but slosh it around, right? You try and catch a ball right in your face. You try and run with it, slosh it all over your hand. So then you start smelling like the alcohol you put in, which is less than ideal. So I'm like, nope, not going to do that again. Water it is. Oh, no, you heard that right. It's cup in hand kickball. I'm pleased to report, by the way, as we are in game, this is my last note. I'm pleased to report that I'm as good at kicking the ball as I was in middle school. The last time I probably played kickball. I don't think I played it in high school. But I was very good at kickball. I was pretty good at dodging, and I was very good at kicking. So the important things in life are happening for me. Yeah, and then I drove home with smelling like booze. Yeah, right? Anyway, we're in game. Let's get it. Let's get this last cast done and see who won the night shift. They have so far been doing well, staying on the same colors. Yay! Yay! Let's go. Oh, okay. Some different characters chosen this time. I needed to get the vetoes too. So game number 3 here between Abrahams and Leviathan. Now it is 1-1-2, which I should update. stopped speaking because suddenly my numbers didn't work. Okay, all right. Oh, good stuff. So for some reason, I can't change the numbers. That's why. I thought I was typing in the Twitch chat. All right, well, you know what? You guys don't get to see it. Oh, okay, whatever, I don't know. Alt-tabbing back into it has fixed it. Fortunately, I didn't need to talk as of yet because they keep pausing. So there you go, you guys get a score. While we wait for the pauses to happen, I was going to say, vetoes are as such. Once again, Abraham's, just like the map 2 vetoes, vetoed Apollo and Kelvin. And once again, like wait, was it every single one? No, this is different. Team Leviathan has banned Mirage. That has been consistent. But then this time they banned the Venator, who did get MVP in the last game, was a problem for them. Did a lot of damage, so on and so forth. And so instead of the Venator, we're back to having Leviathan with Sinclair, first of all, but then also with Mina, who was banned the first time around, I believe, right? But not the second. Anyway, we'll see how that works out. So, I mean, clearly you've got some characters that they just are going to... Oh, yeah, Great Talon wasn't banned. That's what happens. Okay, so Great Talon and Mirage was banned every single time by Leviathan. They let Great Talon go in exchange for getting rid of Venator. And now Great Talon has been chosen by Abraham. So, given the opportunity, Abrahams gets the character that seemingly Leviathan have trouble with. Little bit of a brawl going on as I was talking, though. Quickly into some aggression. Presumably, Leviathan was going to back off from this fight, so we had together take the opportunity to still grab that T1 camp. It took a lot of damage for it, though. Both players here taking a lot of damage for Abrahams. Could be in a little bit of trouble. Riash, just with the convincing start, continues to box on offensively, taking what is usually the opponent's boxes. Not that you would have a lot of other characters, I think, do such, how to say, pervasive box running, but as you can see, Rem is also doing the runs here on this side. But Celeste is just super fast and going aggressively first, and then, let's say, defensively next. Sinclair is also going around for it. We see a lot of box hunting going on as lane guardians for Leviathan are left to their devices. This is a bit different. I mean, I was paying attention to the movement of the mini-map, at least in the previous 2 games, and I didn't see as much non-lane, non-guardian placement as they do here in the first 3 minutes of the game. Interesting. Still some boxes haven't been gotten, haha. But yeah, tons of movement, Jesus. Alright, what is so different about this game that suddenly opened up all of this box hunting that we're seeing right now? Paige going deep back into base. What makes this game so much about the box hunting? This I would like to know. I would like to understand. Someone smarter than me might have to describe it. I'll check out the VOD after and see what the good casters had to say about it. Yeah. Anyway, you think inevitably some of the movement around the map would end up with people either accidentally or on purpose finding each other or joining into a battle in one lane or another. But didn't happen so much. You know, it's just a little bit as we saw there, but nothing to write home about. As we also had that left side, which, you know, initially started off kind of poorly for the team Abrahams. It might still be going poorly for them. I was going to say, recovered. Spoke too soon. Billy had bot healing right, used it, was healed up, and that is a past tense for a reason. Together does get taken out officially this time after narrowly avoiding it just a couple of minutes ago. So obviously another difference that we had. So Great Talon is on Team Abrahams. They're taking that player that clearly Leviathan doesn't like playing against because they banned him twice. They're taking him and using him. And we also had Paige come in. as opposed to, I mean, what was it? It was, well, first of all, Vindicta, and then there was also the time where they used Kelvin. And this is very important. There is a Graves in the game, but it's on the other team. Leviathan's Graves, so is Osis, who's now playing Mina, was very impactful in both games. The first game, they got the MVP right. They got like all the things, all the numbers, all the fancy fonts. And then they had 100k player damage in the last game. And they did not grab them. So actually a lot of changes happening in the vetoes. Well, we'll see who ends up with the advantage. I mean, it kind of seems like right now, as far as the draft went, that Abraham's got the advantage. Again, great talent. Levi doesn't like them. Graves, very good in this patch. But I don't know. Maybe this Mina is going to absolutely pop off. And, well, did a little bit right there. Abraham's was always having trouble on this left lane. Saint and Together were having trouble pretty consistently. You add Mina into the mix, able to come in from behind, too, and just really fully guarantee those kills. Boom, gone. 6-minute Guardian taken. Now, on the other side of things, we might have a bit of a mirroring situation, as now it is Leviathan that is in trouble on this right side. Hoot, very low, but in werewolf form, goes aggressive. The parry on the Guardian, still sticking around. Sinclair is able to... Did they steal it? Oh, they stole the Tombstone. The Tombstone is so... We should have been so helpful, but... Not quite enough to hold on to the Guardian. So not quite the 6-minute Guardian, but 6.5, still pretty good. We do have a mirroring situation. 1 Guardian apiece now down, as both of them send that third person to, you know, kind of guarantee at least one of these Guardians killed. Bit more of a faster counter, though. There's not enough people left over for Abrahams to stop a second Guardian for them going down. And now we even set our sights onto the Walker. Mid lane, Abrahams has adjusted, sent 3 people over there. Got the kill on Osis, who's playing the Mina now. Maybe Grey Talon actually being that bother that they thought he would be, as they had banned him in the first 2 games. I don't actually know Grey Talon's place, by the way, so much, as we had a steal there from Sinclair. Rem going for the sleep, might guarantee the kill on that Grey Talon with that steal come into effect. Anyway, I actually don't know Grey Talon's place in the meta right now. If anyone wants to inform me, I'd be grateful. I just know that he's a pretty easy character to use and can deal a lot of damage with the Owl eventually. But anyway, might have been a nuisance in this lane. It does get taken down. The Guardian now looking a little vulnerable as Sinclair decides to just dedicate to it. I mean, they are kind of free to. They had minions backing them up, and then the Silver Hoot actually went aggressive, tried to kill the Rem, who was injured, but doesn't actually go down, and loses the Guardian for perhaps that. I don't actually think Hoot would have been able to stop the Guardian from going down, to be fair. Not able to kill the minions fast enough, and Sinclair was dealing all the damage to it very quickly. But, yeah, not finding any favors here in the mid lane. That is all the Guardians now killed for Team Abrahams. They've fallen behind by about 6k at this point. It looks like despite getting some things looking better for them perhaps in the draft, not quite able to use it, but perhaps not reaching to the full maximum potential as of yet. Lots of characters in Deadlock are good in the beginning, good in the mid, good at the end, and all types of vice versas, right? And I'd say that Silver, I mean, I don't think has ever really been that great of a laner, as far as I understand, but maybe I'm wrong about that, as patches have happened out the wazoo. Oh, the dodge on the Talon now is actually pretty sick. Sinclair in the hands of someone who's actually good, can be very wily, though does get finally taken down. Werewolf was on the hunt. Werewolf now very injured, now protected, not enough. Sorry, Paige. And what is now called plot armor, as it should be called. Let's be real, that was a good change. Not quite enough to save the Werewolf. So this is now one of the sticking points here for Abrahams, that they have yet to get that mid lane Guardian, but having lost all of the Guardians themselves. Whenever you lose a Guardian, you lose a place to fall back to, you lose a place to set up your defenses, you also just naturally get pushed farther, as you're forced to stay farther behind to use your defenses. You're now using your Walker to defend, right? Which gives more room for the opposition to take your boxes, for instance. Now perhaps Leviathan gets like the mid-boss boxes, for instance, and then also gets rid of some scouting effectively, as your minions aren't going out onto the map and saying, hey, this guy just passed by this lane, now I know where that guy is. So this is a lot of team fights obviously are going to happen, and if a team fight is won because 3 people die and only 1 person died on the other team, That's clearly good. That's easy to say. But then there's all these other extra details that go along with these wins, with these losses. And wow, there's just quite the battle going on right now. Tass, the first victim of this battle. Lanes are pushed pretty evenly at this point, which is really what you want to be paying attention to, especially as the fight continues on and on and on and on, is are you covered by those lanes? And this is really what happened in that last game. That last game was such an excellent example of Deadlock needing to pay attention to the mobile mechanics. You might be winning the team fights, but if you're winning the team fights at the expense of leaving your walkers open, you're losing out on that vision, you're losing out on the objectives, you're losing out on the flex slots, so on and so forth. Why that game lasted 50 freaking minutes. Finally, that lane guardian does go down, however. There was enough pressure as we had some attempt to pick up the urn here from Rem. They weren't going to be involved in that battle. They might have to hold on for a little bit longer, although, yeah, Tass also goes down. Mina is working out. Osis moving off of the Graves. I'm not sure how it went down exactly in the draft, but either they went for it first and said, I don't need to play Graves, or it got stolen. And I could check if this game wasn't so freaking hectic. Where's the lulls? Where's them just building up all their supply depots and pylons? Where are those? Anyway. But the point is, whatever it is, whatever the reason we see a Mina now, the Mina is working out quite well. As you can see, they're on fire. Leviathan is up 10k. Tass could once again be in trouble as well. Seems like they're going to be cornered. Not quite. That's unable to get the Sinner Sacrifice. Nice little steal there from... Actually, it was the Geist. Usually it's the Rem, but in that case, it was the Geist. We got some pushing going on, however. There's Freemuck trying to push the lane, but now they could potentially be cornered. They know it. You see people disappear from the middle of the map after seeing them in the middle of the map, and you're aggressively pushing into their lane. There's some logic that can be applied here, which is, they're coming after me, get the hell out. Verticality is your friend in Deadlock too, so always try and get out like vertically, have options to go vertical. That's going to make it a lot more difficult for someone to chase you. You can see if Shiv has the movement to get out of this predicament. I don't know. Also not getting any support, so it really is just on the chase. One difference that we now see with Shiv was just highlighted there. Shiv might no longer have the easy peasy alt and kill button, but now he has potential addition to his escape kit, which is that he can actually use his ult not on a player, but just anywhere. So that little extra movement can be the reason that you escape, and that was helpful there. As finally, Celeste also did come over to help out. Now that was going on, Graves doing their thing. We kind of saw... Obviously, this is the opposite side of the teams, right? Graves is now on Abraham's. But we've seen the first game, Graves is able to be consistently pushing, consistently defending too. Like, they were always there to do the lane thing, to be the lane Graves. And that was great. That looked great. They did great. Second game, that was not so much what happened. There was a few more times that Graves had to be involved doing something else, and we didn't see as maybe consistent of it. But obviously the Graves is still impactful because that's also the game with the 100k player damage. This third game, again, now they're on Team Abraham's. This is their goal. They want to always, of course, make sure this walker is staying alive, obviously. Getting a lot of cash for being alone in the lane too, if possible. And then actually consistently threatening Leviathan's left side walker with their ultimate. You're probably going to see a very similar build for this Graves too. I mean, already we're seeing the split shot, which is what they got, and probably continue on getting similar items. What other things of note here? A little disarming hex from Rem. Makes a lot of sense, a lot of gun going on. Say Team Abraham's. Mina going to be really difficult to catch with Stamina Mastery. And Celeste gets Torment Pulse. Okay. Again, you know, Celeste is not someone you think of as being on the front lines a lot, and Torment Pulse is that AoE that just kind of beats around them all the time. But they actually do kind of get in the front lines. They want to get in with their bubble, have it pop so that it silences everyone, and then get the heck out. So I guess they're also dealing damage. Talking a lot about things that are not happening on the map right now, because we actually don't have too much. The urn... it came and went, didn't it? Like, that was not a major engagement point. There was engagements while it was going on, but ends in favor of Leviathan, who are now up 16k. This is pretty early on. I hammered on about the 20k lead last game because it lasted so long, but 20k-ish point didn't actually happen for a little while. I feel like it still is later than this. I could be wrong about it, but you know, this is a good amount this early on in the game. Leviathan have been kicking butt so far, and can they continue and roll this into getting a walker? With their Celeste having taken the first walker, I think, so far in every single game. They could be doing it again as we're watching this fight unfold. That's awesome. That's cool. I'm trying to look at the other walkers. Right side walker already gone down for Abrahams. Left side walker was under pressure, and they're losing the battle that we are witnessing right now. Hoot and Tass taken out. Third member also down, as Together died somewhere else, or maybe more at the beginning. This is just all Leviathan, isn't it? Like this. I don't know, maybe the comeback can happen for Abrahams, but considering the way that this series as a whole has gone, it's kind of trending to not be that. My goodness, a 15.5-minute mid-boss. Good lord, you're just not really supposed to be doing that much damage at this point. You know, in a lot of our games, like Guardians will still be up. But that went down, and now we have Abrahams, of course, trying to steal, but not able to do so far, and it's none going to Abrahams. They went in for the attempted steal. They were unable to get it. They do immediately get all of the rejuice, however, so not all is lost. If they can actually fully escape with everyone intact, that would be freaking amazing for them. This could be that turning point. Again, if everyone survives, Hoot goes down. It looks like that will be the only loss. That is so much better than what that should have been. Now, I'm not saying that's making up for this big soul difference, but we even have a little bit of repositioning, a little bit of faster movement coming into effect so that perhaps Abrahams can even get a walker. The Paradox Tass might just dive for it. It is gonna go down. Tass willing to give up their life for that. That was way better of a sequence of events than I was expecting for Abrahams. So much better. My goodness. Now, we do have a disadvantaged urn still being gotten by Team Leviathan, which is less than ideal. But, I mean, this could have been everything going to shit for Abrahams. Instead, it's only some things are going to shit. That's good news when you're really, really far down. Perhaps they can even actually kill Riyash here. That'd be ideal. He does not get the opportunity. Together is, in fact, the one that goes down. Abrahams taking some else. But not without some W's. This is interesting. It's at the end of the day, everything clears. We look at the overall situation. Not ideal for Abrahams, but this is more interesting than I thought it was going to be. Which was Leviathan just sprinting away, sprinting ahead, and winning this game by minute 22 would have been my guess. It's still very possible they win by minute 22, but maybe it's not going to be so clear-cut. Leviathan showed their tenacity in game 2, where they were behind the majority of the time, and did eventually lose, but still. Green. And perhaps Abraham's going to get their opportunity to show their tenacity. Unfortunately, we have a big old weak spots. Cheering for Abrams, bit of the underdogs right now, but this is a very, very underdefended walker. I don't think Leviathan was even expecting it to be so underdefended, so they didn't even rush toward it. But then they realized, hey, this thing has no defenses, let's just go for it, and they do. I mean, even if they had some defense, there's the Mina ult, which just rips and tears through it, so there's always the opportunity to go, hey, we're going to die for this. They get it. Can they escape? Mina, I think, already used some of her bats, so she's going to have to escape some other way. It's not looking great. Rem comes in for the heal, perhaps can save the day. Mina, though, is so damn low, does get taken down. Big old bag of souls there, too, for Together. So nice find. Rem able to just sleep Hoots. That's not going to be quite enough to continue the battle in their favor. Not enough to continue committing to this battle after losing one of their star players. That Mina's died twice, actually. That was not their first death. All right, so the situation is 2 walkers down for Abrahams. They're behind by 22k. They can still take some fights. They can still get some picks. I am very concerned, however, if I'm looking at the overall soul allocation, and that Silver is struggling to keep up on that. And sometimes makes Silver feel like you get to the werewolf as you die. Like, I think that's like the real sticking point to Silver when she's not doing so hot, is never quite getting to the werewolf form where you really do quite well. Ghouls. I want to call Graves ghouls. I don't usually use both words that often, but casting's a whole nother beast. Obviously, she's called Graves. So Graves now is swapped from pushing and protecting left lane, which has gone down, so you're now trying to push that right side. Pulled into the fight. I don't think we're, yeah, it's actually going to be taken.
I'm impressed.
There is the Billy ults. That kind of, looked like the fight was going to happen, but Leviathan just said, don't take the fight, pull back. Urn is still at a disadvantage for Leviathan. They have had that ever-consistent lead, just enough to actually push that Urn one direction or another. They could go for it. I mean, if they go for it and they cause the fight to happen, the fight could absolutely go in their favor. Especially if the Mina is involved, and this time it is. This time it is. It's Celeste who's going to go be the lane cleanup. And the Urn has been grabbed by their Sinclair. Yeah, so again, I said this in the first game. Kalaris is reminding me. There was a patch mid-night shift. I didn't know exactly when, if it was during Europe or during North America. I'm imagining North America, but I'm not sure. But the patch happened, and it did go ahead and address some of the bigger issues that was happening from the previous patch. So, yeah, that's I guess didn't hit for this one.
I see the enemy.
But it is funny that there's no safe tournament in Deadlock. Valve does not care about the balance patch timing. And to be fair, they kind of didn't care about some of the CS:GO tournaments either. But that's another issue. Is we have a fight going on. The Urn is it's dropped. Leviathan have been taking the fights really well so far. Really only kind of losing one. And they might continue on. I'm paying special attention to the Mina and how much damage they're ought to do. Especially if they're not being targeted together, trying to get on them. As Mina's actually going for attempted execute. They already have E-shifts. Alright, there you go. E-shift to save the day alongside the Ram. Now that Great Talon looks like an appetizing meal. The Ram wanted to try and kind of get that guarantee. Doesn't quite do so with the sleep. But now the Urn has been returned by Team Leviathan, increasing their soul lead. I mean, this is why the fight was taken in the first place, was to stop them from getting the Urn. And it could have gotten worse for Abrahams. They could have lost way more people. This Page barely escaping, but they still lost it. They still lost people, and they still lost the Urn. What do they got going for them? A Graves that has a good amount of souls. But not like 40k, and somehow they just, 1v5 everyone. Like, it's not that good. Abrahams has just never had a foot here in this game. Pretty cool moment on the mid-boss, though. I mean, this is a game that if it was just a typical game on regular pickup matchmaking, you're just like, hey, there was a cool moment in my highlight reel. Like, we didn't let them get the rejuve without some consequences. But that was it. Everything else is already going very poorly for them. I don't know how they bring this back other than, yeah, maybe a really amazing team fight. Maybe you take out that Mina, maybe you get a pick on him with a Paradox swap. Get them out of the equation. We got checking out the items here. I was maybe looking for like a silence wave, stop the Geist from ever, getting a trade, picking her off really quickly too. I don't know. Not seeing it. What's the Echo Shard on? Ah, there it is. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Can't do it on that, and Jar Dead, I don't think it's that good. That is annoying. And that might extend the lifespan of some of these objectives, being able to literally draw that line in the sand that says do not continue, but clearly Leviathan have their sights set on their next objective, quite literally, and wanted that walker. But the mid-boss is up, and they could force it. I don't think you do right now, with the Page ult up, but just one pick from them. And they might go for it. Great Talon has a very low ultimate cooldown, so if you see a bird come out that doesn't really look that effective, it's still probably worth it. Yeah, just takes what it can get.
Headed to Greenwich.
Continuing to look at the items while we have a little bit of a moment. Abraham's actually pushing aggressively. They think they see an opportunity. They have seen that there's two players from Leviathan on either lane, so they might have an opportunity for 6v4 right now. They try and take it. Maybe they'll be able to win it. So they got the Shiv going deep to try and kill on the Billy. They do end up taking each other out ultimately, so that's a 1-for-1 so far. But it's Abrahams that is forced to retreat. Those people that were clearing the lanes on the sides quickly coming back to the middle to help out the fight. Now a 6v5. Geist has used her ult, could be taken down, but seemingly okay so far. Fights are getting a little weird too, as some people go down, some people stay up. Who is going to be the next to fall? Tass on Paradox, awfully low, but the tide's starting to turn a little bit. Back over to Abrahams pushing on through. Have they pushed enough? Have they threatened enough to, like, for instance, go for mid here? No. They are going to open up the opportunity to go for the urn, which actually Sinclair noted. Sai actually tried to go ahead and get that. Caused some issues and may have just done exactly that. Got the light melee punch in to have Paradox drop it. Paradox goes back for it, hoping to be able to keep it away from what is certainly more Leviathan players coming in hot. Still, the light melee, now the thing that drops the urn, can make it so difficult to actually truly run away with it. When it was heavy melee, pretty easy to escape, I would say. Light melee is a different beast. This was almost a good play, but the quick realization from Team Leviathan to go ahead and stop that urn takes that away from Abrahams, which it looked at the open opportunity. One thing that battle did for them, it did push the lanes up. They also got to clear at least the left and right lane initially, so they're pushing those too. Pick up the urn. Team Leviathan was just on it. They knew that was going to be the next play. And Together is once again out of the equation. We got the ball, not the ball. Making sure that everyone spreads out. As soon as they spread out to stop the ball from dealing maximum damage is when you start getting picks of individual players. Such a frustrating thing to face. Werewolf form is activated. Can that be the difference maker for this fight? Again, a 6v5, although Mina not particularly involved initially, now getting involved. Although he got up on some ghouls, apparently. Saint went down despite what sounded like a last-second heroic attempt at the ult to save the day. Now we got a bunny werewolf trying to live, but not gonna happen. Hoot can only do so much up against two. Parry is good, but plenty of punches left over anyway to get the kill. And Abrahams, again, just not able to really get a foot in the door. Although, seeing like, hey, the urn was dropped, let's go and pick that up again. Probably their best bet. This time, no one to stop Tass from picking that up. No one to get a couple of punches on them. And just enough space from having the last walker be the mid walker up to actually get the urn. Another reason why getting that mid walker first can be so important. Can be such a difference maker compared to one of the left or right walkers. You have kind of like a zone of protection to a degree. Obviously, it doesn't literally protect the urn, but gives you a little bit of that buffer. So that is something that Abrahams gets for free as the fight was continuing on in middle. We had the rejuves be taken. That's why there was that lull. That's why Leviathan didn't try and do anything about the urn. They were going for the rejuve, which there's only so much that Abrahams could do about it. Obviously didn't get any of the rejuves. Now Together is once again taken out, and Poor Together just has not had much to say in this game at all. 0 and 10. Oh god, my heart. Oh god, no. I feel like last time I looked, they were like 0 and 3, and I was like, oh, that sucks. But now it's 0 and 10, and it's just a game that you wish was not publicly broadcast by multiple people. That's too bad. No one's doing particularly well. Kills 10 to 30. This has been Leviathan all game long, from the beginning. They got that first Guardian very quickly. They lost theirs pretty quickly after that, but then they got more Guardians much quicker. Then it was the walkers falling down, constantly being pushed, constantly being behind by 20k souls, and just never being the person one step ahead. They were constantly 1, 2, 3, 4 steps behind. And now finally, the last Bastion will fall, the last Walker, and there are so few avenues out of this game. I'm actually a little surprised that Abrahams has lasted up till, let's say, maybe 31 minutes to get everything killed here. One rejuve still left for Team Leviathan, but they do have at least one lane to clear. They're going to quickly do that, maybe grab some items, and then presumably push, because there's plenty of time on that rejuve. Pay our billions build, I love that.
Headed to green.
That's officially what the mass ghoul build will be called. Not everyone knows. Every time I play They Are Billions on stream, it happens like once a year basically. Every time, so many people ask me what the game is. Which I really thought that it had enough of like a little, zeitgeist moment on Twitch years ago that people, generally recognized it, but nope. 0-10s for pro summons hit results that you have. Exactly. I'm as good as together on Billy in this one game. Obviously still not the case. He's done probably a lot of good things in the game. Just the overall stat line is a struggle to look at for the whole of Team Abrahams. They're not giving up yet. Like I said, so few choices to make. I mean, what can you really rely on? You know, Silver has done a good job recovering as well, by the way, from that initial soul deficit I had pointed out. They are now second richest on their team, but still far below anyone on the other team. So I think it's just not that scary. They also picked up the urn, forced to drop it, no longer in werewolf form. So not nearly as helpful. That last rejuve has finally been used. And Fremok is officially going to die at this point. Stuck there and ghouled. More ghouls. I just can't see this ever going fully in Abraham's way. That'd be one hell of a fight for them. They have found both Fremok and Osis on Mina. There's a lot of low players on Abraham's, and the idea of them overcommitting is still pretty high. Another one bites the dust over on Team Leviathan. This is their best fight in a while. Finally, Scent goes down as they were very low from the get-go. They've been low for most of this fight. This is going to open up the opportunity to grab that urn. Abraham's able to grab it and probably able to return it, since there are so few members still alive on Team Leviathan. Though, the chase is on. That's Celeste. Great at escaping, great at chasing. And they are not going to give up. I mean, Sinclair even decent too. I got it. Not quite going to be able to get another one, but they managed to take down Overseas before all is said and done. There was still that room made to grab the urn. Grey Talon had retreated to make sure that the wave was pushed, and clear urn take there. Still 21k soul difference, and 2 walkers left alive for Leviathan, so we're at 32 minutes. Enough souls. You do want those flex slots. And decisions to, instead of getting an additional item, but rather instead to sell an item, have to be made, right? Apparently, like, the teams will not just keel over and fall. I feel like it's just proof that these two teams are quite well matched. Again, Abraham's had been the winners a lot. In this, again, probably most prestigious tournament that Deadlock has. They have won so many, and they looked unbeatable in many of those tournaments as well. Big patches would happen, and they would still be able to figure them out the fastest. They're very good, but that apparently has shifted. It's changed. Leviathan coming in as the defending champs, probably going to defend their title. But I think that is just proof that they are very equally matched, which, you know, a lot of the times Abraham's was winning, and not to be disrespectful, but it's kind of the truth, because their opponents were just simply not up to snuff. It was a very dramatic difference at times, where they would have a very clear order of win conditions. They win the lanes, they win the urn, they win the mid-boss, they win the game. And it's very quick. It's not happening this time around, right? Both teams able to hang on and still show glimpses of life. Some team battles going well, some split-second decisions being made fast enough to win the game.
Boss has arrived.
Another mid-boss to think about, though. There might be a lull, and you're like, okay, maybe that's because, you know, Abraham's now a threat. It's also sometimes just because they're waiting for the next big objective, and that is going to be mid-boss. Now, everyone's alive on either team, so of course Leviathan knows Abraham's going to try and stop this from happening, and they actually kind of, not exactly fake it, but they know that Abraham's going to respond. They go after Abraham's, hoping to catch him a little off guard. Still, everyone up so far. Lots of AoE being planted down. The chase is on. Starting to get a little more of these solo battles, too. Unfortunately, Hoot is going to get taken out first. Big player gone from the team fight. No werewolf on your side. Grey Talon forced to completely retreat. Paige also not able to do very much, and it is going to be a loss for Abraham's. They lose the Hoot. They lose the werewolf. Almost lost Emov too. But that means that they lose mid-boss. They're going to have to come back here a man down. Graves' ult is scary for mid-boss take, so there is that. This is... Nah, nothing is going to go the way of Abraham's. Never mind. I was like, maybe they'll be able to get Ren Rejuve, but all 3 Rejuves were taken by Team Leviathan, and with people falling here, everyone falling for Abraham's, this could be it. This should be it. This was already a one-sided game. The entire game, really? And so all it needed to be done was a decent team battle. One in which no players in Leviathan die, and 4 players on Abraham's die. Yes, the lanes were pushed a little bit, maybe even the lane guardians went down, but you don't really care. Point is, you got at least one of the lanes pushed all the way to their lane guardians, which are going to go down, quickly followed by the shrines, and of course the first patron drop. 100% going to happen. You also get the urn. Is it necessary to get it right now? No, but it's always good practice to do. And, you know, this is also a game now where Abraham's damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you do run in one player at a time, they could just die one at a time. If you don't, then every objective falls super, super quickly. So you try and do it, you try and get in and then get out. That's the gist of it, I guess. Try and delay them a little bit and then hopefully survive. Hoot did, Together didn't. Now the shrines fall. With 60k, basically, soul difference. All 3 Rejuves alive. I mean, the amount of T4s that Leviathan has over Abraham's, it's be like 10 to 1. 39 kills to 13. Even the ability points. Like, Abraham's, they made this game last 36 minutes. But it has never been their game to win. And they will not be taking their title back, no matter how much they try in this last battle. We even have Together, I don't know if it's on purpose or accidentally, but if it's accidentally, apparently the rest of Team Abrahams doesn't even care enough to pause. They're just connected. Thinking that's because they know they have lost 2 to 1. And it's got to try again in the next night shift. Which does happen every week, guys. Europe, then North America. Just Google Deadlock Night Shift and you'll find their Twitch and YouTube.
That was fun.
So that's it. Leviathan, they look damn strong. Even the game that they lost, them extending it to 15 minutes was very impressive because they also managed to bring it back. They never looked completely out of it in the same way that, like, basically Abraham's did in this game. And that Mina over the Graves was not a problem for them at all. Clearly, Graves was still helpful with the patch that this was played in. She was a very good character. They did patch it, though, already. So clearly it was still a good choice to grab, but them getting Mina instead did not keep them down. Let's see the Mina results. What's the Mina impact? They asked you to host this, like 30 minutes for the show. Is that why I didn't see a host at all? Because I was scrubbing through to get the replays, obviously. Yeah, there wasn't a host at all. Pfft, I could have hosted. How hard is it to be a Kalaris? No, not team player. Not as impressive. Not as impressive, Mina. Where's the 100k? No, obviously it was not nearly as long as a game. Grey Talon was a bit of a thorn in the side, apparently, for the laning phase at least. But having it not be banned didn't deter Leviathan at all. I don't know what the guy said on the broadcast, but just noobs look at it. It kind of looked like Hidden King, Jesus, Abraham's went out on the draft, but it did not matter, did it? Not at all. I think it's the same exact build between the 2 Graves. I don't think Grey Talon ever got to the super scary point, actually. And even when you do, Counterspell is actually like used by professionals as opposed to us who might buy it but then forget to use it. And that's how you would deal with a super powerful burb. Taz was able to get the Vortex Web this time around, which obviously if you combo is very deadly. But not deadly enough. Silence Wave was eventually... I either didn't see it when I looked for Silence Wave, that one time I brought up potentially taking out, like, the Lady Geist. Maybe I just didn't see it, or maybe they bought it much later. I'm not sure. Yeah. I feel like someone, like, maybe, like, this Curse Relic from Billy. I don't know. You tell me. But, like, sometimes the Curse Relic can kind of feel like... Well, first of all, if you're not a damage dealer, then fair enough. Right? It's a good tool to have. Everyone kind of agrees on that. If you're behind in a game as well, and, you know, you should be damage dealing, but you're just not, just admit it that you're not doing well, get Curse Relic. It's helpful. But this kind of feels like maybe one of the... There's really not much else we can do here, so at least try and take one of these heavy players off the field. One more heavy player, I should say, because Paige getting it's not surprising. Everyone forgets to use Counterspell, except these guys, I'm sure. And then overseas, I don't think actually changed. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't have to change their build at all. Thing is, when you're so far ahead, as soon as they are, as Leviathan was, there's just nothing you have to stop and consider, is there? You know, first of all, you got your flex slots, so you literally don't have to stop and consider, what do I sell, what do I buy? But then second of all, there's not as much of like, well, you know, we have this silver is doing a lot. Like, we need to think of how to take her out. You just don't give a fuck. You're just like, do whatever you want. So they probably just, full balls to the wall and whatever they wanted. GG's. GG's, I learned. We practiced. We taught. Chat taught at least a little bit. Thank you, Jeebus. Much appreciated. But yeah, this will be more done. Me speak good. This is something that I'll be doing more often. Again, whether I do it live Friday or for YouTube on Thursdays off stream. Depends on the week, I think. But I want to get the casting reps in. The way I got good at StarCraft casting is, believe it or not natural talent. Just look at my casts from 15 years ago. It was from doing a fuck ton of StarCraft casting and getting very, very used to it. Anyways, but then also for actually trying to learn the game. I have spent probably, is it 700 hours, 800 hours now in Deadlock? Hold on. Oh god, it's 938 hours. And I think I've only intentionally learned stuff in the last 30 hours. By that I mean I didn't just osmosis it from reading Reddit casually, seeing what other people did in my own games, which, you know, they're not great. These other people that I'm playing with or against. Or figuring out myself, I guess. Being like, this seems like a good thing. Okay, that was a good thing. We got to get ready to get ourselves into the... what is it? What's the next rank for me? Especially with when they actually rank reset. And, you know, it turns out I'm not actually as good as I thought I was. Okay, I need to be ready to get into Phantom. So that when people hear me cast and they're like, you know what, even league shishi, I can do the whole, like, I'm at least Masters. Which I'm guessing is basically the equivalent. There's more leagues in Deadlock than there is in StarCraft 2, so it's not 1-to-1. I have never made it to Phantom. I'm Oracle 4 with my mains. Okay, I'm Oracle 3 on average, apparently, I guess is what this means. You know what makes me really sad? This is not the only case where this has been pretty consistent. Even though I love playing Paradox, and I think I'm pretty good with Paradox, she's not the person I win the most with. I have a losing record. Now, in my opinion, that's because I sometimes feel less in control of the game if our team is doing poorly than, for instance, a Wraith or a 7, or apparently even Infernus, which, like, I haven't played Infernus in a long time. Holiday, I played more when... I mean, maybe I'll play her again now that her jump pad lets everyone have stomp damage. Interesting. But I feel like I played when she was really stupid, her spirit build.
The sooner
Let's put it back on the roster. I got time for one game.
Haythorn's disciples will answer for their crimes.
Let's do that. Let's... If I get Holiday, cool. If not, no big deal. Ugh. I would think so too, but you just seem to really mesh well with Vindicta. And sometimes that's all it is. Sometimes the way that a character plays is actually the way that you are best at playing. It's just hard to kind of realize exactly what it is about him. I know why I'm good with Wraith, and it's not just because she has moments where she's really overpowered. In my defense, I've played Wraith probably the most when she was not considered overpowered, but she's always been a, how to say, like, in casual lobbies, if she gets going, she really gets going. The snowball effect. So if I was one of the better players in my lobby, I would look really, really good. Because even now, like, people might consider Oracle a good league, but even in Oracle, the amount of times that I play Wraith and no one gets any counter items, I mean literally zero, even if I'm dominating from minute 1, it's kind of silly. But on the other hand, as I had just previously said, I didn't intentionally learn anything from Deadlock, and I think that's the case for a lot of people, actually. Where they get decent because of... Maybe they know the mobile mechanics, maybe they are really good at not dying, which is actually so much of Deadlock, actually. I don't know, but they don't go in learning, like, hey, you should get slowing hex. Alright. I haven't played Holiday in a while. How do press buttons? Hold on. So is this, I'm just now really looking at the builds, by the way. Is this basically saying like someone on TrackLock, like the website uses their data to make this build? Provided by UGG's proven build algorithm. I didn't know UGG's made shoes and algorithms. Anyway. I don't know if I'm just inherently anti-AI or anti-computer. I'm getting more and more to be a Luddite. Fuck off. But I actually don't like using those. I don't like using those ones. It doesn't impress me when they're like a 50% win rate with Archon plus games. I'm like, Is I feel like to equate that to something in StarCraft, which I don't know, like it'll be like Diamond plus games, someone always goes 2-1-1 and against every single race. I'd be like, yeah, you can. Like, yeah, I guess that is how that works. Like, that's fine. It's all about mechanics anyway. But I don't think it's actually very good. Oh shit, I haven't used her gun in so long. Hold on. I gotta like aim. Jesus. I only have to aim as long as I, you know, can't just jump pad and bomb all the time. So like for the first 10 minutes. Okay, I love this, by the way, this build. It's like a role play. We're on the hunt for the troubadour, but we're not trained enough. That's adorable. fuck, I forgot to punch.
Time to go flying.
It's like I do know how to do it. I promise. I hope Billy uses my jump pad. I hope he read the patch notes.
Come on, where did they go?
Going to shop.
Ow. I would like my Billy to be more aggressive, but that's okay, little Billy goat.
Hope I got this position.
Please, Billy. I thought he was gonna get that deny. Oh, okay. Okay.
Ready to lay down the law.
I see the drifter.
I'm done playing nice. Ready to get some
If I had a different lane partner, I would have gone for that second item instead. But since I don't think I'm gonna get... Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get my... get a lot of shots off. I'm not confident with my aim right now. And Billy's not really gonna take advantage of it that much.
choice.
I don't know. Jesus. Jesus. Plus, rapid recharge just feels really
They're here somewhere.
fun on holiday. Oh, we getting a big damage, son.
That's that set.
Woo! Woo-hoo-hoo!
Pull back.
Yo, we're pushing them really hard. If I can get the spirit buff.
Headed to Broadway.
Ah! Sorry, casting buff. Someone noted already on Reddit and the official forums that this being auto-collapse is a really bad change.
I'll take them down.
I hope they fix it.
I'm gonna take them apart.
I feel like I need a different mouse sensitivity when I play Holiday versus the other characters. Which is probably true, but sounds pretty tryhard, so.
I see viscous.
Ready to move. Setting a barrel.
Thanks.
Time to do what I do best.
Ah, that would have been on point, but she was too far away.
I'm not messing around.
Fuck. No, Billy, why did you heavy melee? Yeah, they don't have a per mouse sensitivity. Per hero mouse sensitivity. The amount of times I say Billy no in this game, it's just crazy. I don't really want to get that.
That's gonna help keep your blood on the
In my ideal world, I don't get that.
Bullseye. Go big or go home. Here comes the barrel. It's gonna blow.
He does have his ult. I don't want to be ulted.
I'll pick them apart.
Oh, but that haze so low. She got a med kit.
I see the drifter.
And I think that maybe the lash is saving it to use against me. If I get a lasso, or if Billy gets a ult.
I know how to make it.
Thank you.
Has begun his great work.
I don't back down from this fight.
Fuck you!
I pay your salary, Howard. I can use this.
I don't really get what happened there, by the way.
I see Paige.
Got this position right.
Did I not hear the confirm that I lassoed Hayes?
Don't mess with the law.
Well, someone's looking to make a statement.
Mid-boss has arrived.
And now it. Yeesh.
Nice teamwork.
I'll be right back.
I like it.
The spirit urn is waiting to be claimed.
I got something for you.
You'll be the last one standing.
Should have grabbed that first, actually. Oh well. They don't like getting the buffs, do they?
99.
Paige is missing. Seven's missing.
See how you do against the Flash.
Pick my target.
Thanks.
Your mind and spirit will be
Go big or go home.
Okay, well that time I definitely got her.
I know what I'm doing. Sitting back.
Okay, good.
Greenwich.
Well, we don't really need you, but okay. I guess they already got their guardian.
Ready to take them all on.
I'll do whatever it takes.
Headed to blue.
I mean, she couldn't have made it easier for me to get the lasso, right? If I had missed that, that would have been embarrassing.
Let me show you why I'm the
They destroyed the Guardian on
They
Yellow.
both still have their ult. She was canceled both times, actually. It's kind of funny.
setting dynamite.
Our Yellow Walker is under attack.
I got barrels for days.
Start running, pal.
Let's take out Lash.
Oh, nice, Billy.
Old habits die hard, I'm afraid.
Just persevere through the ult.
Setting a barrel. Here comes the barrel.
Oh, we could have stolen this too. I got movement.
Leave them to me.
I ain't scared of nobody. Be stealing your camps. Oh, I don't have movement anymore.
Seven is here.
Now I only have the movement that God gave Holiday.
Ready to do some damage.
They claimed the urn.
Well, that was happening.
Come back if you need anything else.
I see Lash.
Even though they got the urn, we're still winning.
Into the fray.
I got something for ya.
But I am powerful.
Hayes was around here too. She might sneak up on us. Is she grabbing a camp?
They destroyed the Guardian on Blue.
What was it? That was rude.
Be patient. They'll come.
Thought maybe she bugged out.
Our Blue Walker is under attack. The
No!
spirit urn is waiting to be claimed.
Outfit down.
I hate when that happens. Jump pads on the fucking Guardian. That isn't the first time I've done that. Try to put a jump pad around a Guardian, and it's either blocked by the Guardian on the ground, or it does that, goes on the Guardian. Are we all heading over to the green? What's going on?
Our Yellow Walker is under attack. Our Blue Walker is under attack.
Don't know why we all headed over to green. Left blue open. That's weird. At least they killed the Viscous.
Ready to go in.
I am not doing that well. I'm not gonna confidently take a...
Incoming.
1v1 without having a lot more knowledge. I'm sad no one's used my jump pads yet.
Headed to York.
Headed to yellow.
Time to go flying.
Headed to yellow. Years now.
I mean, he should have realized he was being
Like,
very
good
aggressive. Oops.
Defend green.
Oops. So many oopses.
Defend Greenwich.
I'll do it.
Our
Mirage
Green
TP.
Walker is
Oh,
under attack.
I didn't see him there, so I thought he was TPing to the fight.
Headed to yellow.
I guess it was just the delay.
We delivered the
Use my jump pad, damn it!
Here comes the barrel. Ready to move.
They will all fall.
Yeah.
Shadow.
Flash is right here.
What was that? One barrel punch just sent it not the direction I wanted it to.
Broadway is under attack.
So you probably don't need my help.
This is
Headed to
who
blue.
you're meant to be, guys.
Incoming.
Oh no, what did he die to? Toxic bolt or something?
Headed to blue.
Go big or go home. Barrels out. You're not gonna stop me.
Should probably buy. I might be better if I buy. Jesus, glass cannon this quick?
Setting up a bounce pad.
York is under attack.
I'm pretty sure the Haze is going after the gun and was going to go after me.
Broadway is under attack.
Headed to Broadway.
They've destroyed our Blue Walker.
Ah, it's not a fight I really want to be part of.
Bounce pad set.
Ready for a team fight.
Soldier is here. Headed to green.
I'll pick 'em apart.
The urn has been dropped.
Oh, that's good. Still haven't bought. Why do I get glass cannon?
The urn, the king's power.
I guess to get the stacks, but
Your enemies will curse your name.
I'm kind of wishing that the annotations did more than just tell a little story.
Comes the barrel.
As cute as that. What the fuck? Okay.
Let me show you what I'm the law.
Oh no.
Headed to yellow.
That sucked. If it wasn't for that mess up on the barrel because of the server lag, I would have gotten out no problem. The whole Viscous not being punished if you actually do parry him.
I see Lash.
It's actually kind of silly. It's not something I've really thought of for 2+ years, I guess, since Deadlock release. But probably something should happen if he puddle punches and gets parried.
With a little coordination, this can make all the difference. Got him. Pick my target.
I don't know what the doorman's referring to.
Throwing a barrel. Barrel's out. I know how to make it hurt. Start running, pal.
Damn, our Lady Ice is rich.
Geist, an Oathkeeper fight has won. Greenwich is under attack.
Need help on Greenwich.
No. Ah, I jumped over it.
I got something for ya.
Mm. Okay.
All right, all right.
Well, this haze is actually very unhaze.
Headed to Greenwich.
This is more gun build than I was expecting.
For a 2 a.m. metro ride.
No Europeans are friendly hazes. It's just true. Americans are just friendlier.
I'll take him down.
The spirit element is waiting to open your third eye.
Incoming. Can't shoot through that metal skin.
Pull back!
Lady Guys has got it. Now, Lash sees a bunch of people and decides to
Headed to York.
stick around to clear the lane. Confident Lash. Dude, him just teleporting in and stealing the urn every time. Must be something frustrating.
Take some before they escape.
You are full of surprises, aren't you?
Oh,
Time to go flying. Law's gonna mess with you.
it's pretty cool of him to use this blood scent thing to escape. But
Celeste stands
Defend
with
green.
us, and our enemies shy. Greenwich is under attack.
Headed to Greenwich.
Position right.
Oops.
Thanks.
Bet they got regrets now. I'm done playing nice.
Tired of this haze. I'm the only person she can bully. Metal skin it is. We really need to, like, win a fight and then take mid. So we can get this game done.
I'm not messing around. Don't mess with the law.
I need a 6-man stomp for my B-roll.
You're going down. Ready to move.
I will not be forgotten.
Goomba Goomba stomp. Goomba stomp.
Running, pal.
Better than Team Gooner.
I see Paige.
Headed to yellow.
Oh, fuck. That was not what I meant to do.
Gonna do what I do best.
This is who you were meant to be, guys.
The Baroness opens its arms for you.
Apparently we're just gonna try and end this game without rejuve.
Take cover. Always get my man.
So that we may bring them low.
You think you're winning?
The ritual must continue.
Stab!
Complete the ritual.
Time to do what I do best. Let me show you why I'm the law.
Let's dance.
Okay, I guess we just never get rejuve in this game.
You took out Billy. That's ready to get some air.
Is waiting to be claimed.
Oh, I really wanted to end there. And they said they wanted to stand. Well, at least Drifter did. And we did the classic thing of over-dedicating. They could technically get mid now. I feel like they could, actually. If they did it, like, right now. But they're not, so never mind. Yeah, they could have pushed blue faster. This guy's looking. His Geist is rich AF. 7's getting there, too. But he doesn't have Unstoppable, so I'm just gonna knock down. I feel like they could have gone mid, actually. They push out all their lanes. Okay, they are doing... It's a little late, but they have the Lash ult. Page ult. Drifter ult. See? They knew what they were about.
Pull back.
We don't have to take the fight. I assumed we weren't going to take the fight.
Be blessed.
I'm gonna take them apart.
I'm so used to doing just basically a spirit only even build with Holiday that the fact that her gun actually kills minions is
I see Lash.
Okay.
feels good.
Arrows out! Bullseye. Leave them to me.
Oh, we going for it.
Need help on blue. Sounds good.
They're held.
Thank you.
Gotta get out of here. All right, all right.
Well,
Called my shot.
okay. They get the urn though, right? He said that?
You are not gonna stop me. Got no time for fear.
Okay, there's still a fight happening over there. I am now 50% less confident helping.
Death brings consequences once more.
It's wise to fear me.
They
They
good?
are wise to fear Lady Geist.
Hey, she just said that. Why the fuck do we see Drifter?
They'll be feeling that.
Over on the left. That was weird. This guy's just carried us to victory, man. 19-2. What is up with that? Oh. Fight never stops offensively as we continue to...
Don't worry.
Ow.
The spirit urn is waiting to be.
See, I was gonna hopefully knock down Haze and lash. Alt lash. Or vice versa. That didn't quite happen. I was gonna say Lady Geist. Lady Geist will get there.
They took out Mirage.
I'm beginning to think that they weren't down and out as much as they would like us to believe. I mean, they're still losing, but perhaps we're refusing to win. Solo dolo goon fighting. These goons be strong.
Headed to green.
A Green Walker is under attack. We delivered the urn.
Don't want to get distracted and let the minions kill the walker. That'd be embarrassing.
Catch!
Defend Greenwich.
On the law. Set it down. Will someone shoot him already?
The minions killed right away.
Hide from the lightning.
Yeah, it's pretty silly. Still got the walker though. Not because I didn't believe he could, but just we could have obviously, you know, 2 people have been there
Need help on
easily, and then I think he dies long before the walker is in trouble.
Pal.
I walk the line between life and death.
Be rash.
All right.
Setting up a bounce pad.
Oh, cool. Now we can win. Yeah. That was almost inevitable.
Get him, boys.
Good game.
Don't need mid.
Now is your chance.
GG's. Well, good thing we had Geist carrying. I mean, even without her carrying so much, I guess we also could have won. But
Good.
that wasn't exactly a standout game on my part. And I didn't see anyone use my jump pad. I'm gonna have to get 5 friends and get into testing and get them to jump on the jump pad. But where do I find 5 friends? Yeah. Anyway, that's it for the stream. I gotta go walk a pupper. Thanks for watching, everyone. It's my first Deadlock stream, Deadlock cast on this stream. But we'll keep doing it, and hopefully there'll be more other casting opportunities. So, thanks all. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see everyone back here for Monday's Deadlock stream. Or I'll see some of you on the stream for the Death Slam finals on Sunday. I don't actually know what the stream is for that, but I will find it. And when I'm live, I will post it in my Discord. So, there. Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.